Chapter 1771, Mature Bamboo Immortal Gu. Chapter 1771 Mature Bamboo Immortal Gu. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Fong Yuan floated in the air, an immortal-level enslavement path killer move was shot out everywhere. Pew pew pew. Cloud foxes and other creatures struggled intensely, they had a painful expression as they growled. But soon, their resistance weakened as they stopped moving, they stayed on the spot and lowered their heads as they became Fong Yuan's enslaved beasts. Fong Yuan smiled as he opened his immortal aperture's entrance, the cloud foxes went inside obediently. Not just the cloud foxes, even other lifeforms could not escape from Fong Yuan's demonic claws. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was a huge large-sized resource point, it was filled with dense Dao marks, it was normal for desolate beasts and plants to grow here, even ancient desolate beasts could grow. Fong Yuan quickly scavenged the area, with his previous life's memories, he clearly recalled the location of these desolate beasts and plants. Soon, he obtained 7 desolate beast cloud foxes, a total of 11 desolate plants of 3 species, cloud chi root, white hair root, and spear-tip bamboo. The thing that made Fong Yuan the happiest was the quantity of a rank 7 immortal material, cloud soil, it was huge. I have a lot of time left. Fong Yuan calculated his time. In the previous life, he had spent a lot of time just getting these resources. But now, because it was his second time, he obtained everything rapidly and efficiently, he saved a lot of time. In the previous life, I only searched through briefly, this mountain range has a lot of untouched places. Fong Yuan explored the foreign area and soon found a desolate beast cloud fox. He was about to use an enslavement path killer move to suppress it when Xianxia land spirit's voice resounded from the immortal aperture, Master, I have already obtained the name of this new wood path immortal Gu, it is a rank 6 immortal Gu known as Mature Bamboo. Gu are the essence of heaven and earth, undeniably, Mature Bamboo Immortal Gu was the greatest treasure on this Cloud Bamboo mountain range. In the previous life, Fong Yuan was obstructed by Cloud Bamboo mountain range's formation, he could not make it in time. The 2 Chi Clan Gu immortals defending this place were resolute, while escaping, they destroyed the newly formed Wild Immortal Gu. But now, Fong Yuan noticed this and targeted the formation's weakness immediately, destroying it and gaining control over that newly formed Wild Immortal Gu. The 2 Chi Clan Gu immortals were stunned, the formation was destroyed too quickly. This formation could block Fong Yuan for a while in the previous life, but it was fixed and since Fong Yuan already destroyed it once, he understood its concept, he could easily destroy it this time. After getting it for a while, the Wild Immortal Gu that was newly formed was refined by him on the spot. Immortal Gu Mature Bamboo, it was the size of an average person's thumb. It was long and flat, at the tip of its head was a cylinder that covered its entire head, its eyes were in a hemispherical shape. Fong Yuan played with it in his hand, its body and wings were very soft, it had 6 armor plates on its stomach, its tail glowed with a dim green light. All in all, this Mature Bamboo Immortal Gu was a firefly that shined with green light. Not bad, this Immortal Gu is useful to me. Fong Yuan had a joyful expression. Fong Yuan killed Chen Yi and obtained his soul, he had been soul searching. Chen Yi was the first supreme elder of Heavenly Lotus sect, in his youth, he had obtained a Genesis Lotus true inheritance, Karma Divine Tree. During the battle in Xianxia Blessed Land, he obtained another Genesis Lotus true inheritance, Karma Relocation. Thus, Fong Yuan had 2 Genesis Lotus true inheritances now. But the foundation of Karma Relocation was Karma Divine Tree. The core Immortal Gu of these 2 killer moves, other than the 2 rule path Immortal Gu cause and effect, were some wood path Gu. Chen Yi died, his phantom aperture vanished, he had already destroyed all his Gu worms, Fong Yuan had to collect these Gu worms if he wanted to cultivate the Genesis Lotus true inheritances. The Mortal Gu were simple, but Immortal Gu needed preparation. Mature Bamboo Immortal Gu was a wood path Gu suitable for his Genesis Lotus true inheritance cultivation. By the time Chi Chu Yu arrived at Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range using Great Space Temple, Fong Yuan was already gone. Clan's Gu immortals looked at Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range in a daze. Many people opened their eyes widely, showing deep disbelief. It is completely barren. This is Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. What happened to our flourishing Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range? An old Gu immortal almost coughed blood as he said shakily, I had once stayed here to develop the mountain range. I spent so much effort, but this thief Fong Yuan took it all. Fong Yuan, you demon, I will never let you off. Someone thought about it and said solemnly, we planted normal cloud bamboos here on a huge scale, only specific wood path methods can extract them so quickly. Fong Yuan came totally prepared. In the previous life, Fong Yuan lacked wood path methods. Eventually, a vast amount of ordinary cloud bamboos were left on the mountain. He could only take the desolate plants. But this time, with the advantage of rebirth, he came amply prepared. Fong Yuan had purposely designed a wood path immortal killer move to collect the cloud bamboos. His wood path attainment level was not high, but with the light of wisdom, he could still create a rank 6 killer move targeting mortal materials very easily. He annexed Xianxia Blessed Land. He obtained several wood path immortal Gu. They were all useful in this regard. Xianxia Blessed Land had a huge inventory. The white-haired land spirit had governed the blessed land for hundreds of thousands of years. He had several immortal Gu of each mainstream path. They were not a complementary group. The land spirit had refined them in preparation for any refinement path research problems. Fong Yuan had once borrowed wood sprout immortal Gu to use the killer move Light Fungus Radiance. Chi Chuyu's expression was completely dark. His fists were tightly clenched under his sleeves. Fong Yuan. He gritted his teeth. His illusions were shattered. Fong Yuan was targeting Clan. But Chi Chuyu could not understand why Fong Yuan was targeting him and Clan. When they pursued him back when he was weak, everyone in Southern Border's righteous path was involved. Wu Yong was the person with the deepest enmity with him. Why didn't he attack them? If he thought Wu Clan was too strong, he could bully the weaker ones like Xiao Clan. Clan was not weak, it was upper tier even among Southern Border's righteous path. Who did they offend? Why was he doing this? What did they do wrong? Couldn't he tell them? Couldn't he just talk nicely? Communication was the key to human relationships. These types of people were the worst. Attacking without warning, destroying and plundering without making a single sound. Why did he do that? He was a true scumbag. Not just Chi Chuyu, all the other Clan Gu immortals felt very upset and wronged. Fong Yuan is clearly targeting us. He has made ample preparations. The question is, what is he after? We need to know this. This is the first obstacle for us in dealing with Fong Yuan. Chi Chuyu thought about it, he said. He gave up on his previous mentality. He decided to deal with Fong Yuan with all his strength. If they did not do anything, Chi Chuyu would not be able to account to the clan. Demonic path Gu immortals often traveled alone, but the righteous path had to maintain a force. One could not live freely by one's own intentions. Chi Chuyu, for example, even though he was rank 8, he had his bloodline descendants to take care of. And Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was not just a large resource point for Clan. Back when Clan was still in its infancy period, Clan's ancestors had scrimped and saved when they were weak to slowly develop it. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range had provided a stable source of income for Clan's development. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was the glorious history of Clan. It was a form of mental encouragement to Clan's members. Fong Yuan plundered Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. He was trampling on the pride and history of Clan's Gu immortals. Right at this moment, Chi Chuyu and the rest received requests for reinforcements from Clan's Gu immortals again. Report. Fong Yuan has appeared at Wind Flame Mountain. He is currently using the killer move Myriad Dragon to attack the formation. Report. Fong Yuan has appeared outside Ragged Cave. He was obstructed by the formation and has mysteriously vanished. Different from earlier, Fong Yuan suddenly appeared at 2 locations. Clan's Gu immortals were very shocked and suspicious. How could there be 2 Fong Yuan? One is a fake and one is his true body. Or maybe it is Fong Yuan's clone. That's possible too. No, according to the timing, Fong Yuan first appeared at Ragged Cave before he used fixed immortal travel to arrive at Wind Flame Mountain. Qi Chuyu analyzed calmly. That means Fong Yuan is still at Wind Flame Mountain. We need to reinforce it immediately. But why did he teleport to Ragged Cave then? Isn't that unnecessary? Maybe he felt that Ragged Cave's defensive formation was too strong, so he chose the easier Wind Flame Mountain. No, these are both giant resource points, their defensive formation are equally strong, there is no weaker one. Qi Chuyu thought about it before a thought flashed in his mind. He said plainly, split up and help them. That is the only way. If the giant resource point is looted by Fong Yuan too, our Qi clan will lose too much. But is this Fong Yuan's scheme? He wants to divert us away. Fong Yuan's current strength is far beyond the time when he chased after all. Even someone like Fong Gu lost so terribly to him. Qi clan's Gu immortals were hesitant, they were very wary towards Fong Yuan. Should we seek reinforcements? Suddenly, a Gu immortal asked. The whole of Great Space Temple sank into silence. This was something that most of the Gu immortals were thinking, but did not dare to say. Amidst the silence, the immortals looked towards Qi Chuyu. Qi Chuyu had a dark expression as he shouted, he is just a rank 7 Gu immortal. Our clan has only lost 2 resource points and you are all frantic already, you want to seek outside reinforcements. We cannot afford to lose our reputation like this. Did anyone die? Are we only left with the old and weak? Seeking reinforcements without even fighting against Fong Yuan once. Where is your courage? Where is your bravery? Where are your pride and glory as Qi clan members? The immortals lowered their heads in silence, they took Qi Chuyu's fierce scolding. After Qi Chuyu scolded them, he gave orders, do as I say. I am going to Wind Flame Mountain now, you all will travel in Great Space Temple and go to help Ragged Cave. Act quickly and do not panic, the defensive formation of a giant resource point is not so fragile. Keep in touch at all times. Yes, Lord. Nobody disagreed with his order. With their current location, Wind Flame Mountain was closer while Ragged Cave was further. Thus, the Space Path Immortal Gu House Great Space Temple would go to Ragged Cave while Qi Chuyu, who was slower, would go to help Wind Flame Mountain. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1772, Done in by himself. Chapter 1772 Done in by himself. Qi Chuyu went to Wind Flame Mountain at full speed. When he arrived, he saw that Fong Yuan had already destroyed half the formation. Fong Yuan was currently uprooting the sunset parasol trees. He stole the countless birds within the parasol forest, including the fire phoenixes, with incredible efficiency. The Gu immortal defending this place had not left, he was attacking Fong Yuan fiercely using the remaining formation. Fong Yuan was able to deal with it easily. He dealt with the formation while looting resources continuously. Stop! Qi Chuyu shouted with startled anger. First Supreme Elder, you are finally here. The rank 7 Gu immortal defending this place was extremely agitated, he was overcome with tears. He was at first confident in regards to the defensive formation, but after a while, Fong Yuan easily broke it, he was incredibly scared and desperate, he did not dare to act rashly. Before Qi Chuyu came, he had been defending himself, now that the Supreme Elder was here, he attacked with some flashy methods. As Qi Chuyu had finally arrived, Fong Yuan stopped his actions. Fong Yuan, what a great job you've done. Retribution is here. Qi Chuyu's eyes were spewing fire. Wind Flame Mountain was quite a special resource point. Other than raising phoenixes, at a certain timing each year, many wild phoenixes would come here and lay eggs. If something happened to Wind Flame Mountain, the wild phoenixes might choose other locations, Qi clan would suffer great losses. But Fong Yuan was smiling throughout. Compared to the previous life, Qi Chuyu was more angry because Fong Yuan's efficient looting meant that Qi clan suffered even greater losses. Qi Chuyu felt pain from this. Senior Chi Chu Yu, I have been waiting for you, this is my move. Fong Yuan said as he activated Yama Battlefield. Chi Chu Yu hesitated for a moment but did not dodge. He allowed Yama Battlefield to envelop him as he said, let me see what you're made of. Yama Battlefield formed quickly, a huge yellow-brown lump enveloped both Fong Yuan and Chi Chu Yu. Next, Yama Battlefield shrunk rapidly, condensing from a yellow-brown lump into a tiny spot. It was like an immortal aperture that was placed outside, vanishing entirely without a trace. An amazing soul path battlefield. Chi Chu Yu praised. Chi Chu Yu's arms were behind his back as he stood calmly. His attitude had changed tremendously. Even though he was trapped in Yama Battlefield, he did not try to forcefully deduce it. He looked very much at ease. He was wary internally, to think that Fong Yuan even had a battlefield killer move. There was no information about this at all. At this point in time, different from the previous life, Fong Yuan's Yama Battlefield was not exposed. Last time, he used Yama Battlefield to trap Fong Gu. Not only did he expose this method, Fairy Z-Wei deduced and broke it successfully. After the battle in Langya Blessed Land, Fairy Z-Wei even exposed the profundities of Yama Battlefield and the method to break it in Treasure Yellow Heaven openly, causing Fong Yuan's Yama Battlefield to lose its value in battle. The risk of using it was much higher. And in this life, even though Fong Yuan used Yama Battlefield multiple times, his targets were Meng Tu, Sleeping Lady, and the Diamond Head Turtle. They were either killed or captured. Against Fong Gu, he used the super formation space and could not activate Yama Battlefield. Thus, this method was kept a secret until now. Now that Fong Yuan used it, it was finally known to the outside world. Fong Yuan was not going to kill Chi Chu Yu. Information about Yama Battlefield was definitely going to spread. Of course, it was not that Fong Yuan could not kill Chi Chu Yu, but the risks were too high and the reward was minimal. This was the same reason for Chi Chu Yu, who did not want to face Fong Yuan earlier. When two tigers fought, one was definitely going to be injured. Fong Yuan stood at the end of the other side of the battlefield as he assessed Chi Chu Yu, smiling, Lord Chi Chu Yu, you are inside my immortal battlefield now. Why are you not attempting to retaliate? Instead, you look like you want to talk. Why is that so? Chi Chu Yu snorted coldly, stop pretending. Fong Yuan, you went around plundering for the sake of gaining my attention. Thinking about it, since you could easily break the defensive formation, why did you not take the lives of my Chi Clan's Gu immortals? This is not hard to achieve, but you did not think of killing a single one of them. Furthermore, be it Contact Heart River Bank, Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range, or Wind Flame Mountain, even though you looted them clean, you left their foundation behind untouched. Both Great Space Temple and I went out at the same time. That was part of your plan. Seeing that we were together, you attacked Wind Flame Mountain and Ragged Cave at the same time, so that we would have to split up. You were merely finding a chance to talk with me, but did not have any special method to do so. Tell me, what is it that you want? Chi Chu Yu spoke calmly. Before splitting up, he had already guessed Fong Yuan's intention. All that anger and hatred was just an act. Chi Chu Yu's analysis was mostly right. In the previous life, when Plunder Shadow Earth Trench was still around, Chi Chu Yu defended it for some time. Only after Fong Yuan attacked Wind Flame Mountain did he show up. This time, Fong Yuan took down Plunder Shadow Earth Trench in advance, but because Chi Chu Yu and Great Space Temple were together, it was quite troublesome. Great Space Temple was a space path immortal Gu house. It countered immortal battlefields. Fong Yuan had fought against it in his previous life. Even Great Thief Ghost Hand was unable to counter it. If Fong Yuan wanted to talk to Chi Chu Yu, the best way was to avoid this house and find a chance to lure Chi Chu Yu out alone. This was not hard for Fong Yuan. With his deep wisdom path attainment, he could easily achieve his target with some adjustment in thinking. But Chi Chu Yu was wrong about one thing. Fong Yuan did not leave behind the foundation of the resource points on purpose, but because he had no way of taking them. Chi Chu Yu had misunderstood it. Of course, Fong Yuan would not correct him. Clap clap. Fong Yuan started to clap, it is so easy talking to a smart person. Senior Chi Chu-yu, take a look at this. Chi Chu-yu's eyes flickered with uncertainty. He carefully received the information path Mortal Gu that Fong Yuan tossed out. He seemed at ease now, but he was very alert in his mind. Even though Fong Yuan had rank 7 cultivation level, Chi Chu-yu knew how devious this lad was. He was crafty and ruthless, he needed to be guarded against, one could not relax around him. But soon, Chi Chu-yu's expression changed. He started to frown, a cold light flashed in his eyes as his expression turned dark. The information path Mortal Gu that Fong Yuan gave him included the details of Qi Clan's defensive formations, as well as Fong Yuan's conjectures and methods of breaking them. Among which was Wind Flame Mountain's formation. Fong Yuan understood it very well. With his understanding, he could easily destroy the defensive formation and take all of the resources within, but he did not do that. From this point, Chi Chu-yu could see Fong Yuan's sincerity. It confirmed his guesses while also showing that Fong Yuan had shocking formation path attainment. And the thing that ruined his mood was the latter part of this information path Mortal Gu. These contents were very detailed about Qi Clan's information. Chi Chu-yu felt a chill in his heart. This was not something he could get from a little investigation, a lot of time was needed to accumulate such a rich pool of information. And in this information, the emphasis on Qi Clan's internal problem, the fact that Chi Chu-yu had no successor, was the main issue. This made Chi Chu-yu's expression change. He was deeply shocked. Because the information was just too detailed, very clearly, someone in southern border was helping Fong Yuan, secretly providing this. Who was it? Demonic Path Gu immortals were very unlikely. They were loners and did not have much of a grudge with Qi Clan. There was no need to observe Qi Clan and waste their own cultivation time. Other than those predatory righteous path forces, who else can it be? Chi Chu-yu was filled with shock and rage. Yang Clan soon became his biggest suspicion. Chi Chu-yu felt deep anger. If a certain southern border righteous path superforce was secretly helping Fong Yuan, this situation would become much more passive for him. Very likely, my Qi Clan has no traitor. It is these vicious righteous path clans that are trying to attack my Qi Clan using this sharp blade. These idiots, these fools, these traitors, they are the biggest parasites of southern border's righteous path. Chi Chu-yu's anger was like an erupting volcano. The lava was spewing out endlessly. He was already restraining himself. If Fong Yuan was not here, he might be shaking intensely. Fong Yuan laughed secretly. He observed carefully and assessed Chi Chu-yu's current mood and thoughts. He had a general idea. This information that he gave out needed a lot of manpower and resources to obtain over a long time. The truth was, there was no southern border righteous path clan helping him. He had obtained the information from the southern border immortals when he captured them in the previous life. Fong Yuan was definitely going to use this hidden card well. As he had expected, once he used this card, the effect was immediately. Chi Chu-yu's expression turned dark, his calm attitude was no more. I'm sure that right now, Chi Chu-yu must hate these southern border righteous path clans much more than me. That is only natural. Throughout history, almost all organizations would hate traitors the most. But the truth is, this was merely one of my gains from the previous life. And I was able to capture those southern border immortals because of the dream realms that Chi Chu-yu had provided to me. The culprit was really just Chi Chu-yu himself. Chi Chu-yu's expression was very ugly. He was emitting an intense air of tragedy. He was done in by himself, but he could not sense it. Fong Yuan spoke again. Lord Chi Chu-yu has been famous for a long time. You have governed Qi Clan for so long, you must be sure of the value of this information. The force that gave this information to me is not just underestimating me, they are also underestimating you, Lord Chi Chu-yu. Chi Chu-yu heard this. He had a thought. It seems that Fong Yuan does not like being made use of. Unknowingly, he did not hate Fong Yuan that much anymore. Fong Yuan continued, now, do you believe in my sincerity? Chi Chu-yu thought about Qi Clan's losses. He felt pained. He squinted as he sneered at Fong Yuan. Hee, does that mean I should thank you for holding back? Fong Yuan smiled. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1773, Fong Yuan's Epiphany. Chapter 1773 Fong Yuan's Epiphany. Within Yama battlefield, two immortals stood on opposite sides. Fong Yuan sighed, "We have limited time, I will say this directly, I want to make a transaction with Qi Clan, are you interested in my dream path research results?" Qi Chuyu was slightly stunned before his cold and icy gaze changed slightly. Dream path? Did I hear wrongly? A flash of excitement flickered in Qi Chuyu's eyes for a moment. Fong Yuan's dream path research results were not a secret by now. When he disguised as Wu Yi, his goal was the dream realm. Fong Yuan had methods to turn dream realms into people, he had used it back in the battle over the dream realms, many super forces were extremely envious of his method. Fong Yuan had spring-autumn cicada, he had been reborn from the future which had a flourishing dream path, it was not strange that he had some dream path mysteries. One could say, Fong Yuan's dream path research results were at the peak of the 5 regions, far ahead of this world. The mysteries of dream realms and the depth of dream path, I have only made slight progress in it. What if I told Senior that my formation path attainment level was obtained from the dream realm, what do you think? Fong Yuan smiled as he spoke casually, it was like a huge rock that splashed into Qi Chuyu's heart, creating a huge commotion. Oh. Is that true? Qi Chuyu was moved, he could not hold his cool anymore. Fong Yuan laughed heartily, he had meticulously crafted this conversation to lower Qi Chuyu's aggression, at this point, he had complete control over the flow of the conversation. This was different from the previous life. Fong Yuan tossed out an information path Gu worm, "Senior, take a look." Qi Chuyu received it and his gaze flickered, he unconsciously grasped the information path Mortal Gu in his hand, as if afraid that it would fly off. The information path Mortal Gu had all sorts of details regarding dream path mysteries, it was incredibly attractive. Qi Chuyu was completely drawn into it, he quickly finished looking through. Qi Chuyu licked his lips, he felt that his throat had gotten dry after this short while. He was incredibly moved. Qi Chuyu forced himself to stay calm as he purposely asked, "What transaction do you want?" "I want dream realms, give me dream realms and I'll give you the dream path research results of the future." Qi Chuyu did not agree instantly, he said, "This is difficult, almost all of Southern Border's dream realms are being guarded by the righteous path super forces." Fong Yuan smiled, "Senior Qi, I want the dream realms on Tian Mountain. Even though the formations there have changed, you are the person in charge. I also know that there are many hidden backdoors, it will be easy for your clan to steal some dream realms without any problems." Qi Chuyu heard this, his expression changed again. Fong Yuan understood the situation so clearly. It was really terrifying. The backdoors at Tian Mountain's formation were Qi Chuyu's proud creation. He had created them under the eyes of all the Southern Border forces, he was bullying their lack of formation path expertise, these backdoors were set up in secret. I thought I deceived everyone, but to think that Fong Yuan saw through it. Maybe not just Fong Yuan, sigh, I have underestimated the geniuses of this world. Qi Chuyu was overthinking it. Fong Yuan's information was obtained in his previous life, it was given to him by Qi Chuyu himself. Fong Yuan used Qi Chuyu's information against him, it was really useful. Otherwise, why would there be the saying, your biggest enemy is often yourself? Fong Yuan continued to pressure Qi Chuyu as he lost his resistance. Every negotiation was a battle, even though it was not as straightforward as fighting, it was still a contest of strength in terms of wits and tactics. Compared to the previous life, Fong Yuan had too much advantage, he was stronger now because of his information, he knew his opponent well, his tactic of putting up a front was incredibly effective. Even a person like Qi Chuyu had fallen victim to it. The transaction was quickly negotiated, it was very advantageous to Fong Yuan in the end. Qi Chuyu agreed to the transaction, but for his status, this was humiliating. But there was no choice, Fong Yuan had a strong hold over him. Firstly, he could not do anything to Fong Yuan, even if he tried to deal with him, the risks were too high, the gains were marginal. Secondly, if he worked with Fong Yuan, he would stop plundering Qi Clan, they would even gain some dream path research results, this was too attractive to Qi Chuyu. Finally, Qi Chuyu was still worried about the so-called traitors in Southern Border's righteous path, he wanted to find these traitors. He might be able to find them through Fong Yuan. Sovereign Immortal Aperture, Mini Southern Border. A mountain was empty and bare, it had no vegetation and stood proudly on the ground. Around it, the ground was not flat, there were some contours but the inclination was limited, there were just some small mounds. Because of these mounds, this empty mountain looked even larger in perspective. Right now, at the peak of this empty mountain, a rank 6 Rockman Gu immortal stood as he looked up at the sky. After becoming a grotto heaven, this immortal aperture truly became different from a blessed land. It is so grand and magnificent. The size of this sovereign immortal aperture is beyond logical, it is unimaginably big, worthy of the miracle created by spectral soul demon Venerable. Every time Xianxia looked at this place, he would sigh internally. This was majestic, this was a miracle, this was simply a divine construct. He was completely awed by spectral soul demon Venerable, he had no thoughts of resisting Fong Yuan at all. Behind him was a group of Rockman Gu masters, they were talking among themselves. After spending more than 10 days, we have finally constructed this mountain. I am so tired, we had to work from early in the morning to late at night every day. I heard that the creation of this mountain was a mission given by that supreme being. In order to complete it quickly, we paid a huge price and activated Gu worms continuously, at least 30 Earth Path Gu worms died in the process. Speaking of which, don't you feel that refining Gu here has a high chance of success? Sigh, there will be rewards when we complete the sect missions. I hope that the Supreme Gu Immortal would give us some valuable rewards. Quiet. Do you think you are qualified to discuss matters regarding that great lord? The Rockman Gu Immortal could not take it anymore, he scolded. These Rockman Gu masters quickly lowered their heads, becoming silent from fear. At this time, green light flickered as a figure descended from the sky, floating in the air. The Rockman Gu masters looked up, it was Fong Yuan's rank 6-time path clone. Everyone's hearts jumped as they quickly knelt down, paying their respects. This subordinate greets Lord. Xianxia quickly greeted with a humble attitude. Fong Yuan's clone had a plain expression, he nodded and asked, has the formation been completed? Fong Yuan's mission was not just to create an artificial mountain, they had to set up an immortal formation in the interior of the mountain. Xianxia quickly reported, Lord, I have already set up this fire path formation according to the formation chart you provided, you just need to activate it now. Fong Yuan had already used his divine sense to penetrate the mountain, he was already looking into it. He nodded, he was quite satisfied with the setup of this formation, he was about to get these rock men to leave, but he saw that Xianxia wanted to speak, although he did not dare to. Xianxia had rank 6 cultivation level but he had once fought against Fong Yuan, his immortal battlefield grey cloud rock puppet left Fong Yuan a deep impression, he was quite talented. After moving the rock men, Fong Yuan sent the Rockman Gu immortals to the Stone Lotus Island to familiarize themselves with future self. Meanwhile, Xianxia stayed behind, he was the leader of the Rockman tribe, similar to Shui'er and Mo Tan sang in their own tribes. You have something to say to me? Fong Yuan's clone stopped as he asked, he had some patience towards this talented person. Xianxia blinked as his expression turned uneasy, he made up his mind as he said, I heard that Lord has been on the offensive and gained great victories, the southern border righteous path is extremely fearful now. Even that Qi clan first supreme elder Qi Chu Yu was helpless against you, he could only watch as you left freely. Fong Yuan's eyes flashed with bright light, he was such a shrewd person, how could he not understand Xianxia's words, he interrupted, your tribe's Gu immortals want me to stop and live peacefully, there is no need to take such risks, am I right? Oh, I beg for forgiveness. Xianxia bowed deeply, he had an expression of fear, this was my own bold idea, the supreme elders are all cultivating at the Stone Lotus Island, they are unaware. Fong Yuan's clone sneered internally. The rock men had different ideas to him, they wanted to live in peace and develop slowly and stably, they hated risks. They would love nothing more than for Fong Yuan to hide in a cave and cultivate for a century or a millennium. They did not want Fong Yuan to take risks, because if he died, the sovereign immortal aperture would be exposed, they would all be implicated. But how could this be possible? Fong Yuan pursued eternal life, this was only possible after destroying Fate Gu. If Heavenly Court fully repaired Fate Gu, they would not let him off, they would find him one day and kill him. Hiding and stalling would only lead to despair. Only during the final Central Continent Refinement Path Convention would Central Continent be attacked by all 4 regions. When Heavenly Court is at its weakest, he would have a chance of success if he acted. The variant human's wish would not come true. Not only that, they would have to fight for Fong Yuan in the future. They were already tied to him now, they could not isolate themselves. Shi Cheng's words was actually the idea of many variant human Gu immortals. They used Shi Cheng to suggest it instead of saying it themselves. It was a way to keep themselves safe. It was a mature political tactic. Fong Yuan did not reject nor agree to anything. He waved his hand, "Bring the elites of the tribe and leave this mountain." Yes. Seeing that Shi Cheng had taken some distance, Fong Yuan's clone started to activate the mountain's formation. Instantly, the formation became a furnace. Intense heat was emitted from it. This heat quickly charred in the interior of the mountain, creating waves of molten magma. A moment later, with an explosion, the top of the mountain erupted, smoke rose into the sky as gushes of lava flowed down the mountain, the temperature rose sharply. The Rockman Gu masters watched from afar. They gasped. This method of changing the natural environment and creating a volcano out of nothing was truly stunning. Even Shi Cheng was deeply moved. His formation path attainment was low. At this point, he finally realized the use of the formation that he set up. But the more shocking thing happened next. A huge hand appeared in the sky over the mountain. It was as large as the mountain as the 5 fingers spread out, scattering countless trees onto the volcano. These trees were covered in a flowing light. They landed softly and planted into the lava itself. The terrifying lava was quickly absorbed by the roots as the trees took in all the nutrients. Soon, branches extended as leaves grew. They gave out the beautiful light of the setting sun. These were sunset parasol trees. A moment later, more hands flew out as they scattered fire phoenixes all over the volcano. One by one, the fire phoenixes landed on the top of the volcano. They were quickly suppressed and sealed by the formation. The entire process was overlooked by Fong Yuan's clone. No unexpected mishaps occurred. Shi Cheng opened his mouth wide. He looked at this scene with a dumbfounded expression. Even though he knew that Fong Yuan had advanced to rank 8, it was not as shocking as witnessing this himself. There were ancient desolate beasts among these fire phoenixes. Just a single one could slaughter Shi Cheng without any problem. Finally, Fong Yuan's clone left behind a large number of fire path birds of all types. There was a huge variety of them. From now onwards, this will be known as Fire Bird Mountain. It is your Rockman tribe's resource point. Fong Yuan's clone flew towards Shi Cheng. This was a huge surprise. Shi Cheng quickly knelt down and thanked him. He was very excited. Fong Yuan's clone smiled. "Get up, I said before that I would help all of you. This mid-sized resource point is my reward to you for your hard work of creating the mountain." This subordinate is ashamed. Shi Cheng was incredibly thankful. Compared to this Fire Bird Mountain, the hard work that they had put in was truly insignificant. The Gu worms used to create the formation of this Fire Bird Mountain, the formation chart used, and all the resources provided had all come from Fong Yuan. This was akin to his gift to them. Fong Yuan's clone added, "I will continue to give you missions in the future. Fire Bird Mountain is not the final one." Shi Cheng was dazed. There was deep meaning in Fong Yuan's words. Where did the fire phoenixes and sunset parasol trees come from? He had plundered them. Fong Yuan said that Fire Bird Mountain was not the final one. He meant that he would continue to plunder and take risks. The variant human Gu immortals gave Fong Yuan very subtle advice. Fong Yuan's rejection was also very subtle, but if one looked into it, they could see how domineering and intimidating Fong Yuan's response was. Shi Cheng did not dare to contradict him. He even felt a little joy after receiving this gift. With this Fire Bird Mountain, my Rockman tribe can finally rise up. How can Lord Fong Yuan be someone that is so easily convinced and shaken? That is not my problem. Lord Fong Yuan has given me the task of leading the tribe. These resources are also my cultivation resources. As long as I do not go overboard, I can definitely cultivate rapidly and raise my cultivation level. Shi Cheng had a heated gaze. Any Gu immortal would treasure and feel deep desire towards their own battle strength under the pressure of the calamities and tribulations. Due to Fong Yuan's political tactic, Xianxia had already been separated from the other Rockmen Gu immortals. The Rockmen were suitable for managing Fire Bird Mountain. The temperature of the earth around the volcano was hot, it was a good place for Rockmen to sleep in. Of course, Eggmen were the most suitable for managing volcanoes. But currently, Fong Yuan had no intention of bringing in Eggmen. It was sufficient to develop these variant human groups now. Xianxia's words gave Fong Yuan quite some insight. Different from my previous life, this time around, I took in many variant human tribes. I need to nurture and strengthen them. I also need to divert some attention and resources to them. Fong Yuan could use enslavement path methods to subdue all these variant human tribes, but in that case, he would lose any chance of nurturing them as it is. I want to comprehend human path. It is not like enslavement path, everybody has their own thoughts and desires. To maintain an organization, I will need to consider the thoughts and emotions of the members in this organization. There are no two completely identical individuals, no matter how similar, people are different in their own ways. Fong Yuan suddenly had a thought. A flash of inspiration sparked in his mind like lightning, brightening his entire mind. It was the epiphany of human path. Suddenly, Fong Yuan understood a certain point. He had a complex expression, human path, so that's it, I had a human path killer move all along. At this moment, his human path attainment level rose to master. Human path master. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1774, Eerie Light Under Her Eyes. Chapter 1774, Eerie Light Under Her Eyes. Southern Border. On a nameless mountain, there was the noise of a waterfall as mist spread out widely. At the cliff of the waterfall, Fong Yuan's main body sat on a pine tree branch as he thought deeply. The human path inspiration came abruptly. Fong Yuan placed great importance on it. His main body and clone stopped what they were doing and thought about it together. At this moment, inside the sovereign immortal aperture, an army had formed. There were 100,000 strength path phantoms. They stood on the grassland unmoving, like solid statues. They all had the same faces. They resembled Fong Yuan's main body. They stood in an orderly formation with the same distance between each one. This was Fong Yuan's Myriad self-army created from using Myriad self-immortal Gu. Fong Yuan grasped onto that inspiration as he stopped Myriad self-immortal Gu, activating Myriad self-killer move instead. In a while, a larger number of strength path phantoms formed again. Fong Yuan thought about it before using Myriad self-killer move for a third time. But this time, he did not use the immortal level killer move, but the original mortal killer move instead. Rank 4 all-out effort Gu as the core, with the supplementary bitter strength Gu, borrow strength Gu, self-reliance Gu, refine essence spirit Gu, earth strength Gu, water strength Gu, wind strength Gu, lightning strength Gu, fire strength Gu, lurking soul coat Gu, breath concealment Gu. Eventually creating the killer move Myriad self, splitting the main body's soul into a grand army of strength path phantoms. But because it was a mortal killer move, these strength path phantoms were far inferior to the previous phantom army. But this was the origin. Back then, during the Northern Plains Imperial Court contest, Fong Yuan combined 6-arm Heavenly Zombie King in self-strength, using Soul Path, Wisdom Path, Chi Path, and Enslavement Path killer moves as reference, solving the age-old question of combining enslavement and strength, creating this move. Next, using the foundation of this move, he developed Strength Path Giant Hand and Reverse Flow Protection Seal. The former gave Fong Yuan a new offensive method at the appropriate timing and was his strongest method for some time. The latter was the crucial trump card to Fong Yuan's ability to fight rank 8 as a rank 7. Be they Myriad Self, Strength Path Giant Hand, or Reverse Flow Protection Seal, they were very exceptional. They were top tier even among top tier killer moves. Right now, Fong Yuan gained some human path inspiration. he traced its source and modified the original version of the mortal killer move Myriad Self once again. Fong Yuan's main body and clone deduced together. At the same time, his clone was bathed in the light of wisdom. The killer move soon became modified. Fong Yuan activated Myriad Self for the fourth time. This time, he created a Strength Path Phantom army again, but different from the first three. Even though this army was standing quietly, the individuals had various expressions of all sorts. Some were crying, some were laughing, some were frowning, some were smiling, some had killing intent, some were expressionless, some were resting with their eyes shut, some had peaceful expressions, some had darting eyes, curious about everything around them, while some were sighing and grunting, looking extremely bored. Fong Yuan's divine sense swept through these phantoms. Countless thoughts sparked in his mind like lightning. After a while, Fong Yuan and his clone abandoned these phantom armies, activating wisdom path methods to deduce once more. This deduction took 6 hours. After succeeding the deduction, Fong Yuan obtained an extremely complex mortal myriad self-killer move that was many times the size of the original in terms of Gu worms. He activated this killer move. Because this killer move had too many Gu worms, the arrangements were too complex. Even as a rank 8 Gu immortal, Fong Yuan only succeeded after a long while. This time, the myriad self-phantoms were far fewer in numbers than the original 3 versions, but they all had individuality in them. Some of these myriad self-phantoms were running, jumping, sitting and thinking, playing around. Some were even angry and furious, attacking the surrounding myriad self-phantoms and creating huge chaos. The chaos among the myriad self-phantoms grew rapidly. After a while, these myriad self-phantoms were all engaged in a huge brawl. Even though some did not want to participate, they had no choice. These myriad self-phantoms did not have the same strength. Some were stronger, some were weaker. Bright light flashed in Fong Yuan's eyes. He found that in this chaotic battle, the myriad self-phantoms who won became stronger, while those who lost became weaker, or even got destroyed. The myriad self-phantoms fell in numbers rapidly. Soon, less than 10 phantoms were still fighting intensely. Eventually, only one phantom stood on the battlefield. All the rest of the phantoms were destroyed. This phantom was tens of times stronger than before, but it was still at the mortal level. The phantom looked identical to Fong Yuan, but it was filled with anger and hatred. It roared at Fong Yuan's time path clone, showing deep killing intent and animosity, but it did not dare to attack. It charged towards the previous few groups of myriad self-phantoms. These myriad self-phantoms stood quietly and without orders from Fong Yuan. They did not move. They allowed the angry phantom to attack them. After slaughtering them all, this angry phantom's aura grew time and again. It broke the limits of the mortal level and reached the level of a rank 6 Gu immortal. Seeing this, Fong Yuan's main body and clone both showed joy on their faces. Fong Yuan's clone waved. The remaining myriad self-army moved like a tide, surrounding the angry phantom and fighting it to the death. The angry phantom had outstanding strength. Even though it was encircled, it continued to fight without fear. With every phantom it destroyed, it grew a little stronger. It did not know fatigue. It was like a fighting machine that kept growing. It growled and roared, continuing to stand on the battlefield. Eventually, after it broke through from rank 6 to 7, Fong Yuan's main body finally moved, activating a killer move and personally killing this strength path phantom. This fourth myriad self-killer move that Fong Yuan used created very unique strength path phantoms that had their own thoughts and personalities. Even his main body could not control them. And amazingly, all of them had terrifying potential for growth. The angry phantom started out at rank 4 level, but it eventually grew to reach the level of a rank 7 Gu immortal. Of course, only its aura and level broke through. Its own battle strength was not too high. It was even weaker than ordinary ancient desolate beasts. Because its body was phantom, it was not as sturdy as an ancient desolate beast. It was also limited in intelligence. It could not use Gu worms to fight. It only had battle instinct. Be it myriad self-immortal Gu or myriad self-killer move, they both expend my soul. This is the basis of the killer move. It is a flaw that cannot be avoided. Precisely because these strength path phantoms originate from the same source, the souls can merge, they are able to get stronger by devouring each other. The final Myriad self-killer move that I activated is no longer just the convergence of enslavement and strength, it has progressed to become a human path killer move. Fong Yuan's time path clone was bathed in the light of wisdom all along, its eyes flickered with uncertainty and bright light. At this point, the killer move Myriad Self had become a true human path killer move, while Myriad Self Immortal Gu was confirmed to be a human path Immortal Gu. In the previous life, Fong Yuan had felt regret that he lacked a human path method or foundation when attacking Central Continent. The truth was, he had won all along, but because he had too many issues going on and things to consider, he did not notice it during the battle. This was like the poem, "The mountain resembles a range when you look from the front, it resembles a peak when you look at it sideways. The mountain shows different features at different angles near and far. You cannot see the real Lushan mountain, because you are on the mountain yourself." His exploration in human path had started in the 500 years of his previous life, but he had no awareness in this aspect. A person's life is their exploration towards human path itself. Other than Myriad Self Immortal Gu, I also have another human path Immortal Gu. That is, Perseverance Gu. Wait, not just Perseverance Gu, the sovereign immortal fetus Gu that I stole is also a human path Gu worm. Looking at U003CU003C The Legends of Renzu 003EU003E, Hope Gu, Vanity Gu, Guts Gu, Stubborn Gu, Pride Gu, Self Gu, Suffering Gu, weren't all these human path Gu worms? No wonder U003CU003C The Legends of Renzu 003EU003E is known as the human path true inheritance, it truly contains the deep profundities of human path within it. Fong Yuan sighed in his heart. At this point, he could finally read U003CU003C The Legends of Renzu 003EU003E with a proper level of understanding. Fong Yuan had reached this conclusion after living for nearly 600 years. His human path inspiration was not obtained from nurturing the variant humans, it was the crucial qualitative breakthrough that he gained after accumulating sufficient life experiences. It was like a small pile of gunpowder that was lit by a spark, an intense explosion with a loud sound was set off. Fong Yuan surpassed his original limits and reached a new level in human path. This was his growth after deep accumulation, progress was very smooth. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. In Central Great Hall. The dense purple aura calmed down slowly, before it completely retracted back into Fairy Ziwei's mind. Fairy Ziwei frowned lightly. What is this demon Fong Yuan plotting now? In the Battle of Langya Blessed Land, Heavenly Court lost terribly. Fairy Ziwei took the responsibility personally, she rapidly divulged the information regarding Fong Yuan for free. But currently, Fong Yuan was very strange, he had not taken any action. Normally speaking, with Star Cast exposed and the deaths of Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch, Fong Yuan would definitely spread news of it everywhere to attack Heavenly Court's prestige, to make the other 4 regions more antagonistic towards Heavenly Court. But Fong Yuan did not do that. Fairy Ziwei had a sense of unease all along. These last days, she had been paying close attention to Fong Yuan's movements, even if a slight incident occurred, she would deduce it with her full strength. Fairy Ziwei already knew about Fong Yuan's actions in southern border. But why did Fong Yuan target Qi Clan? What motive did he have? Was he really just going after those 3 resource points of Qi Clan? Earlier, the formation in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench got destroyed. Was that mysterious Gu immortal Fong Yuan? Or maybe, he wants to refine Gu now after annexing Langya Blessed Land and gaining a huge foundation. Or maybe, he has already used Spring Autumn Cicada to rebirth, he is using his rebirth knowledge to obtain all of his potential advantages now. Fairy Ziwei's eyes flickered with uncertainty. After Fong Yuan's Spring Autumn Cicada got exposed, his enemies would all consider it when they thought about his actions. Fairy Ziwei had been paying attention to this all along. Once Fong Yuan rebirths, Spring Autumn Cicada would need a lot of time to recover, that would be the best time to kill him. At the same time, all the methods that I used already will be known to Fong Yuan. I will need to change my battle tactics. It was crucial whether Fong Yuan had already used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth or not. If he did, Fairy Ziwei would need to stop all her original plans and start from scratch. However, even though Fairy Ziwei deduced with her full strength, even after using Star Constellation chessboard, she could not confirm if Fong Yuan had been reborn or not. Fong Yuan destroyed the formation in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench but did not take the Dream Realms. He was very secretive when dealing with Meng Tu and the rest. Even for Great Thief Ghost Hand, Fong Yuan did not use it openly, he used the super formation to conceal it. Heavenly Court could not link him to Swan Bujin. His smoke bomb was just too brilliant, he had successfully confused Fairy Ziwei. Fong Yuan's wisdom path attainment was a huge help in this aspect. This rebirth was very different from the previous ones. Against the strong enemy Heavenly Court, he had to consider the ink effect at all times. Fong Yuan is crafty and shrewd, he has left too little valuable information for us. Fairy Ziwei thought about it angrily. She turned around and left the central Great Hall, arriving at the place she held Spectral Soul captive. Soul Search. Spectral Soul resisted for a while before relenting as waves of memories were extracted. The secret of Golden Dragonfish rearing? Fairy Ziwei was first joyful before becoming disappointed. If it were before, Fairy Ziwei would be very happy about targeting Fong Yuan's main source of income, but now that he obtained Langya Blessed Land, all of its businesses were taken over by him. This method that Fairy Ziwei obtained was not very useful. Even so, I cannot give up on this chance to suppress Fong Yuan. Fairy Ziwei thought about it as she gritted her teeth and made her decision. But unknown to her, while she was thinking, in the depths of her eyes, a dark eerie light flashed for an instant. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1775, Developing Green Ghost Deeser. Chapter 1775 Developing Green Ghost Deeser. On this night in southern border, the starry sky was dim, intense winds were blowing, a storm was about to start. Two Gu immortals flew rapidly while hiding their traces, the thick dark clouds providing them an additional layer of concealment. It is here. While moving, one of the Gu immortals spoke. The other immediately stopped. Next, at the center of the dark clouds, an immortal battlefield opened slowly, absorbing the two Gu immortals before it closed rapidly. The two Gu immortals entered the immortal battlefield and removed their disguise, they returned to their normal appearance. The one with lower cultivation level had an ordinary appearance, but the other was a rank 8 Gu immortal with great authority and reputation. It was the famous Qi clan's first supreme elder, Qi Chuyu. If other righteous path Gu immortals saw this, they would stare in disbelief and shout in shock. The great Qi Chuyu was actually sneaking around in the darkness. Who was he meeting? Senior Qi Chuyu, we meet again. The Gu immortal defending the immortal battlefield had dream path aura and an ordinary appearance. He was the type that would be indistinguishable in a crowd. Qi Chuyu looked at him and said in displeasure, Fong Yuan, I thought your main body would come. Hehe, aren't you being too careful? Fong Yuan was the one waiting for Qi Chuyu, and this battlefield was Yama battlefield. But Fong Yuan did not come in his main body, this was a pure dream reality seeker physique body that he created. Fong Yuan's clone smiled, I am cowardly and afraid of death, please do understand me, Senior Qi Chuyu. Cowardly and afraid of death. Qi Chuyu's eyebrows were raised, he thought of the 3 rib bones belonging to Thunder Ghost True Monarch that were sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven, and the time when Fong Yuan disguised as Wu Yi Hai, and also the recent losses that he incurred from Fong Yuan's plundering. He smiled and said mockingly, Fong Yuan, you are too humble. I've brought the thing that you want, let's not waste time in case mishaps occur, let's do the transaction. This place was close to Tian Mountain, the location was quite sensitive, Qi Chuyu did not dare to be careless. Of course. Fong Yuan's clone nodded. The two finished their transaction on the spot. Qi Chuyu obtained an information path Mortal Gu, while the Gu immortal beside him flew towards Fong Yuan's clone. The Gu immortal that came with Qi Chu Yu was also Fong Yuan's Dream Path clone. After Fong Yuan and Qi Chu Yu came to an agreement, they first targeted several southern border locations and obtained the scattered dream realms, before using pure dream reality seeker transformation to turn them into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. Next, using these pure dream reality seeker physique clones, he communicated with Qi Chu Yu and met with him. Qi Chu Yu brought one of them with him as he entered the secret formation space on Tian Mountain through the back door. There, Fong Yuan's pure dream reality seeker physique clone used a method to convert the rest of the dream realms into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and stuff them into its immortal aperture. The original pure dream reality seeker physique came from a shadow sect member, Wisdom Path great expert old man Xianxia. The killer move pure dream reality seeker transformation was the greatest achievement of his lifetime's research. The original pure dream reality seeker transformation that he had could create the most extreme form of pure dream reality seeker physique. It had 18 hours to live, and every 2 hours, the cultivation level would rise by 1 rank. At the final moment, it would have rank 9 cultivation level. But after the battle on Tian Mountain, Shadow Sect's sovereign immortal fetus Gu, which was made from countless years of effort, was obtained by Fong Yuan, while Spectral Soul got trapped in the dream realm. During the second Tian Mountain battle, Purple Mountain True Monarch brought the remaining Shadow Sect forces to attack, attempting to save Spectral Soul's main body. During the battle, Purple Mountain True Monarch also used Pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation, but it was the incomplete version. The Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies were also flawed, they were not as strong as the original. The version that Fong Yuan obtained was also this incomplete one, but afterwards, he got the original version from Spectral Soul's true inheritance. In Fong Yuan's previous life, this pure dream reality seeker transformation killer move was obtained by Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei had obtained it after searching Spectral Soul for a long time. Not long after, Feng Jin Huang displayed the talent of a future venerable. She actually perfected the original version of pure dream reality seeker transformation, which had a huge flaw. Thereafter, Heavenly Court obtained the perfect pure dream reality seeker physique, the 11th extreme physique. During the final battle in Central Continent, when Fong Yuan attacked the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation, he captured the perfected pure dream reality seeker physique bodies from Feng Jin Huang and comprehended their creation. He also obtained the method to create perfect pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. Right now, when Fong Yuan did transactions with Qi Chu Yu, he did not use the perfect pure dream reality seeker physique, he was using the incomplete killer move that Purple Mountain True Monarch gave him. Because this incomplete version had a time limit in lifespan, it would self-detonate when the time was up. Fong Yuan made good use of this flaw. Even if Qi Chu Yu tried to harm him, he would not get the pure dream reality seeker physique body. Before the transaction, Fong Yuan informed Qi Chu Yu of this flaw. After learning that the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies would self-detonate, Qi Chu Yu's expression turned ugly, but for the sake of the dream path research results, he had to accept it. Seeing that the pure dream reality seeker physique body returned to Fong Yuan, he also let out a sigh of relief. If this thing self-detonated around him, even Qi Chu Yu's formation path methods would be ineffective against it. This transaction carried huge risks for both parties, but the rewards were too alluring. Both sides were taking a gamble. After this first transaction, both parties were quite satisfied. They were more confident now in continuing. Before leaving, they agreed on the second transaction location and time. They also arranged many secret and safe methods to communicate. Fong Yuan's transaction with Qi Clan had changed drastically from the previous life. Last time, Fong Yuan used the dream realms to exchange for Qi Clan's immortal essence stones and immortal materials. That was because he lacked immortal essence at the time. But now, Fong Yuan annexed Langya Blessed Land and advanced to rank 8, with his rank 8 immortal essence. He did not lack immortal essence at all. He lacked dream realms instead. In the previous life, he basically explored all of the dream realms that were scattered outside. Only a small portion was worth exploring because he had sold them to Qi Chu Yu. Fong Yuan needed a large number of dream realms, those that were on Etion Mountain. Because he knew that Spectral Soul was a great grandmaster in all paths, his dream realm was on Etion Mountain. There could likely be human path, information path, and chi path dream realms. If he could completely inherit Spectral Soul's attainment levels, Fong Yuan would be qualified to annex every single rank 8 grotto heaven. Spectral Soul's human path attainment level was naturally Great Grandmaster. Without such a foundation, how could he possibly create Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu? My current human path attainment level is at Master. This is my accumulation after 600 years. Fong Yuan knew that with his human path achievement, he could not deal with Heavenly Court's human path methods left by different venerables. He was still too young, his accumulation was not deep enough. Red Lotus Demon Venerable lived for 3,000 years, this was the shortest among the venerables, but the truth was, due to his rebirths, his lifespan was far beyond 3,000. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable lived for 25,000 years, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable lived for 19,000 years while Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable lived for 12,000 years. These three were the top 3 venerables in terms of lifespan. To deal with their methods, Fong Yuan had to use dream realms to grow rapidly. Other than human path, information path, chi path, and even ice and snow path were areas that Fong Yuan desired. Fong Yuan's main body was near this transaction location. After Chi Chuyu left, he summoned his clones after a while. Soon, he placed the 2 pure dream clones in his sovereign immortal aperture. The dream realms that Fong Yuan obtained this time were not human path, they were mostly chi path. Chi path dream realms were very useful. If Fong Yuan had Great Grandmaster attainment level in chi path, he would be able to annex Chi Si Grotto Heaven, his cultivation level would rise drastically. Fong Yuan stored the dream realms, he activated Familiar Face, before using Fixed Immortal Travel's killer move to leave southern border. At the next moment, he arrived in Western Desert, he disguised as the Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Swan Bujin again. After flying for a while in Green Ghost Desert, Fong Yuan saw Fong Clan's rank 7 Gu Immortal Fong Huasheng. He was the 3rd Supreme Elder of Fong Clan, specialized in healing methods. He wore a white robe and had white hair. As he looked at the approaching Fong Yuan, his stern expression turned into a warm smile. "Friend Swan Bujin, how have you been?" Fong Huasheng greeted. Fong Yuan nodded, "Thanks for the concern. My goal in coming here is to cooperate with Fong Clan and develop Green Ghost Desert together." Fong Yuan moved quickly and spoke openly, stating his intention without wasting time. This was different from the previous life. Last time, Swan Bujin's identity was exposed, his connection to Fong Clan was cut. As a result, Fong Yuan had to extort Fong Clan using his own identity. Even though Fong Clan relented and gave him some resources, it was not part of Fong Yuan's original plans. In addition, Fong Clan had also promised Fong Yuan an immortal Gu as a reward, but after he got exposed, they did not act on it afterwards. Afterwards, when Fong Yuan repaired Dang Hun Mountain, he lacked soul beasts and could not produce enough guts Gu, his own soul path cultivation became very slow. He had felt regret towards this loss many times. It hindered his growth tremendously, his cultivation path was disrupted. But now, Fong Yuan paid attention to this issue and changed it. Even though Swan Bujin had used Great Thief Ghost Hand in front of Chen Yi, and also against Feng Jiugu in the formation space, the two situations were very different. Without any evidence, nobody could link Fong Yuan to Swan Bujin. Even though they were both theft path methods, there were still theft path Gu immortals in the 5 regions. Currently, most people thought that in the Langya Blessed Land battle, Fong Yuan's theft path method was the foundation of Langya Blessed Land. After all, Long-Hair Ancestor had once worked with Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Fong Huasheng had a grim expression as he sighed, "Ever since the Battle of Divine Bean Palace, Swan Bujin, you have been vividly etched in our memories. We are more than happy to cooperate with you, but now..." Fong Huasheng said that as he paused, raising his head to observe Fong Yuan's expression. But he was going to be disappointed. Fong Yuan's plain face had no change of expression at all. Fong Huasheng had no choice but to continue. Right now, our Fong Clan is in an awkward position. We are facing pressure from Western Desert's righteous path, which is giving us problems. Especially recently, friend Swan Bujin, there have been rumors that you are actually the demon Fong Yuan, because you both possess a method to steal immortal Gu and also oppose Heavenly Court. That demon Fong Yuan has familiar face after all. He can conceal himself and has a vicious heart. We truly cannot defend against him. Even Heavenly Court is without means against him. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1776, Fong Clan Des External Supreme Elder. Chapter 1776 Fong Clan Des External Supreme Elder. Fong Huasheng's problems and complaints were actually deliberately mentioned as obstacles to Fong Yuan. But Fong Yuan's expression did not change, his mind was calm and tranquil. Because he had heard of such rumors long ago. Since he was going against Heavenly Court, he had to have great foresight. Currently, he was trying to stand above the 5 regions, using the entire Gu world as the chessboard to compete against Heavenly Court. Rumors that said Swan Bujin and Fong Yuan were the same person did not originate from Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei had no evidence. Random guesses would only ruin Heavenly Court's reputation. At most, they could only suspect it and try to help spread this rumor. The ones who came up with it were Western Desert's other righteous path forces. Fong Clan had obtained complete victory in the battle over Divine Bean Palace. They defeated Chen Yi and Qing Chou, obtaining Divine Bean Palace and even recruiting 2 rank 7 demonic path experts, Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine. Fong Clan's gains were huge. After they assimilate this newfound strength, their battle strength would rise greatly. They would jump up and become the #1 Western Desert Righteous Path force. This would break the current balance. There would be a huge commotion that would affect the Righteous Path force's benefits. Thus, they worked together and tried to suppress Fong Clan. In order to make up excuses so they could act freely, they started looking for reasons. All sorts of random stories and old feuds were dug up. Even historical conflicts were taken out and used as excuses. If they could not find any reasons, what would they do? They would create reasons. Using all sorts of rumors and underground information, they could create commotion that sounded reasonable, but would be easily dispelled if effort was placed into answering them. The rumor that Swan Bujin was Fong Yuan was one of them. There was no strong evidence, but did rumors need evidence to begin with? These were just rules of the game that the righteous path played. They were working together to target Fong Clan and needed this layer of reasoning. Who cared if there was evidence? These reasons were sufficient. Fong Yuan even suspected that this rumor regarding himself was the inspiration of a random Gu immortal one day. This Gu immortal who created the rumor would likely never think that they had actually hit the nail on the head. But Fong Yuan was quite sure that Fong Clan would not believe this rumor. Even though Swan Bujin appeared abruptly, he had a reasonable background that they could research on. Fong Yuan made ample preparations for this purpose. He had linked Swan Bujin's background to a Western Desert lone immortal, Xing Shen. Fong Clan trusted the background that Fong Yuan had provided to a large extent. Because Xing Shen had lived tens of thousands of years ago, his relationship with Fong Clan was a secret. The other forces did not know it. Fong Clan would not admit that Swan Bujin was Fong Yuan in any case. Unless strong evidence forced them to be speechless. It was like this in the previous life. Because Fong Yuan's identity was exposed, Fong Clan was quite troubled. Western Desert's righteous path forces found the perfect excuse and became overjoyed. Fong Yuan knew that Fong Huasheng's words were simply to gain the maximum benefits for Fong Clan. Fong Yuan sneered internally. He looked at Fong Huasheng with a plain gaze. In that case, forget it. I will look for the other clans to work together. Saying this, he turned around and left quickly. Fong Huasheng saw Fong Yuan's gaze and felt his heart jump. Seeing that Fong Yuan was about to leave, he gasped and quickly chased. Swan Bujin, wait, hold up. What is it? Is anything the matter? Fong Yuan slowed down as he floated in the air. He looked at Fong Huasheng with a mocking gaze, saying plainly, "Isn't Fong Clan in huge trouble now and does not want to cooperate?" Fong Huasheng had a bitter smile. He understood that Fong Yuan knew the fact that Fong Clan was trying to extort him through this reason. But Fong Huasheng was helpless, because he was currently exposed. Regarding this, Fong Huasheng was mentally prepared. Because before coming, Fong Clan's Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster Fong Di Chang had already informed him. Xuan Bujin was a Wisdom Path Gu immortal. Fong Huasheng cupped his fist towards Fong Yuan. "Friend Xuan Bujin, please don't worry, even though Fong Clan is in dire straits now, our determination to cooperate with you has never wavered. Our relationship extends all the way to tens of thousands of years ago. This is really a special connection between us, we need to treasure it. Last time, during the battle over Divine Bean Palace, we worked together harmoniously. If not for your help, we would have had much more difficulties in obtaining Divine Bean Palace. We still owe you the reward for that battle, even though you allowed us to delay the payment, we have never forgotten about it. Before coming, First Supreme Elder even told me to apologize to you properly regarding that matter." Fong Huasheng said a long string of beautiful words without any effort. Fong Yuan felt disdain on the inside, but he showed a faint smile, cooperating with Fong Huasheng while allowing this matter to end on a nice note. Fong Yuan said, "I know about Fong Clan's circumstances, you know I am a Wisdom Path Gu immortal too, I vitally want to develop Green Ghost Desert as well. I have already written the details of this cooperation, take a look." Fong Huasheng received the information Path Mortal Gu, he looked into it, his face turning pale gradually. The details that Fong Yuan wrote were advantageous to him, the conditions were neither too harsh nor too easy on Fong Clan, it was right on Fong Clan's bottom line. "Friend, you are truly a Wisdom Path Gu immortal." Fong Huasheng felt a chill in his heart as he spoke with admiration. Even though Fong Clan obtained Divine Bean Palace, the refinement of this Gu house was very difficult, they were making little progress. After the Battle of Divine Bean Palace, Fong Clan's 3 immortal Gu houses were heavily damaged, Fong Clan's strength fell drastically, they were at their weakest point. But at this moment, Western Desert's righteous path forces acted together to suppress Fong Clan. They were in a worrying state now, they needed external help. Xuan Bujin was an ideal reinforcement. Because from Fong Clan's perspective, Xuan Bujin was a Wisdom Path Gu immortal with methods to enslave a soul beast army. During the battle in Divine Bean Palace, he even showed the ability to steal rank 8 immortal Gu soul beast token, it was simply shocking. Fong Clan was very wary regarding Xuan Bujin, but thankfully they had a historical relationship and had worked together before. At this point, if Fong Clan could gain a rank 7 expert like him, their morale would rise, it would help this situation greatly. And if they refused to cooperate with Xuan Bujin, he might even be forced to join his enemies instead. If Xuan Bujin worked with the other righteous path forces, Fong Clan's circumstances would be even worse. Fong Clan was wary of Xuan Bujin, but they also needed him. Xuan Bujin was only a rank 7 Gu immortal, but Fong Clan was not able to reject his offer to work together even if they wanted to. Fong Yuan knew about this point, that was why he acted fearlessly against Fong Huasheng. In the negotiation with Qi Chuyu earlier, I could have failed. But in this current negotiation, I have no way of losing. Fong Yuan felt very confident in this. Of course, if Xuan Bujin's identity is really exposed, Fong Clan would never cooperate with me no matter what. That was why I gave up in the previous life and directly extorted them. This was the rule of the righteous path. As for why Qi Chuyu took the risk to make transactions with Fong Yuan, the profits were too immense. Additionally, Qi Chuyu was confident that even if the matter got exposed, he could still deny it. Qi Clan also had a formation defending them, they were extremely safe, in the worst case, he just had to give up some resource points. Qi Clan's circumstances and status were different from Fong Clan. Because of the two clans' differences, they could make different decisions. Fong Huasheng looked at the contents clearly before returning the information path Mortal Gu to Fong Yuan. But at the same time, he handed another information path Mortal Gu to Fong Yuan. Second Supreme Elder has personally entrusted this to me. According to your proposal, we can definitely cooperate. But this information path Mortal Gu contains another proposal filled with Fong Clan's sincerity. Please take a look and consider it. Fong Yuan laughed to himself on the inside. He knew what the contents were before he even looked at it. After taking a look, Fong Yuan's lips curled up indistinctly. As expected, Fong Clan wrote one condition: they invited Fong Yuan to be their external Supreme Elder. Fong Yuan smiled secretly to himself, but he showed a hesitant expression. He said to Fong Huasheng solemnly, "This is a huge matter, I need a few days to consider it." Fong Huasheng was overjoyed. He was afraid that Fong Yuan would reject him on the spot. Now that he said he would consider it, it meant that he was inclined to accept the offer. It was not strange for him to be moved by it. Back then, when Fong Huasheng first saw the plan to recruit Fong Yuan, he was very shocked too, to think that the clan was willing to pay such a huge price. Fong Huasheng quickly said, "Please take your time to consider it. I'm sure you can see Fong Clan's sincerity in foundation. Even though this is a difficult time, our future is bright. The truth is, our clan already has some progress in refining Divine Bean Palace." Fong Yuan gasped as he showed an obvious expression of being moved. But he was rolling his eyes internally. Fong Clan's progress in refining Divine Bean Palace was definitely very slow. The reason? Because they did not use it to fight even during the final battle in Central Continent. Fong Huasheng was simply lying through his teeth. But that was not Fong Yuan's concern. He decided to agree to Fong Clan's request and become their external Supreme Elder. Given enough time, with his own information path methods, no agreements could bind him. With this relationship, the development of Green Ghost Desert would become even smoother. Fong Yuan would also gain a lot of cultivation resources as his reward for joining Fong Clan. These resources moved Fong Yuan as well. But he could not agree now. If he did, it would seem like he was too eager. That was not how Swan Bujin would act. Fong Clan's wisdom path Great Grandmaster Fong Di Chang had incredible methods and capability. Fong Yuan had witnessed it personally. He could not underestimate him. At this point, Fong Yuan said goodbye to Fong Huasheng. "Goodbye, friend." Fong Huasheng stayed as he watched Fong Yuan leave. He had an expression of sincerity on his face. Fong Yuan felt a little amused. "I will agree to this in a few days. If one day, my identity gets exposed, I wonder how Fong Clan would react. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1777, Ink Effect. Chapter 1777 Ink Effect. Sovereign Grotto Heaven. In Mini Southern Border, a damaged mountain stood proudly on the ground. Even though it was damaged, the surrounding mounds were still like tiny pebbles compared to it. Different from normal mountains, it looked like it was made of crystals. It was pink throughout while emitting the colors of dreams and illusions. It was the secluded domain of heaven and earth recorded in U003CU003C. The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003E, Dang Hun Mountain. Fong Yuan's divine sense went around it entirely. Dang Hun Mountain is about 80% repaired. This is way faster compared to the previous life. Compared to now, his previous life was truly pitiful. Firstly, he did not annex Langya Blessed Land. The battle expended a lot of his immortal essence storage. Afterwards, he attacked southern borders areas and stole dream realms, before transacting with Chi Chu Yu to gain a large number of immortal essence stones, finally replenishing his immortal essence storage. In the previous life, Fong Yuan used landscape as before Immortal Gu to repair Dang Hun Mountain. He expended a vast amount of immortal essence. Landscape as before was just rank 6 while Fong Yuan's immortal essence was rank 7. He also faced pressure from the outside, be they Heavenly Court or Southern Border. They wanted to create problems for him. For a long time, Fong Yuan's immortal essence storage was kept at a dangerous level. He could not accumulate any as his expenditure was huge. But now, after annexing Langyat Blessed Land, everything was different. He became a rank 8 Gu immortal. He was able to produce rank 8 white lychee immortal essence in his sovereign immortal aperture in advance. It was the same as 100 red date immortal essence beads. That was to say, Fong Yuan's immortal essence was produced at 100 times the efficiency as the previous life. At the same time, Fong Yuan had rank 7 heavenly essence treasure Imperial Lotus, while Langyat Blessed Land itself had a huge stock of immortal essence stones. This huge foundation was sustaining Fong Yuan. He faced no problems in terms of immortal essence. By spending a huge amount of immortal essence without concern, Dang Hun Mountain was being repaired at an extremely fast rate, far superior than his previous life. In the previous life, at this time, Dang Hun Mountain was only 30% repaired. But now, it was already 80% repaired. Given just a bit more time, it would be fully repaired. If landscape as before had a higher rank, the recovery speed would be even faster. Currently, landscape as before was merely rank 6, using it to repair Dang Hun Mountain was like chopping a tree using a knife. Even though Fong Yuan had rank 8 Immortal Gu Advance Refinement and the Long Hair Refinement Path Formation, he was unwilling to take the risk to refine landscape as before due to his vigilant nature. Unless he obtains Regret Gu and creates Regret Pool. The success rate of Gu refinement was too low. If he failed and the Immortal Gu got destroyed, it would be a disaster. Fong Yuan had thought of the Vital Gu. When a Vital Gu is refined, no matter how many times it fails, it would not die. But Fong Yuan's clone had Spring-Autumn Cicada as its Vital Gu, while the Sovereign Immortal Body was created using Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu. It had no such thing as a Vital Gu. If I can obtain a Gu Immortal's body and use Split Soul to turn it into my clone, I can change the Vital Gu and refine landscape as before Immortal Gu using it. That would be safer. But this plan could not be done now. It was not that he could not capture Gu Immortals, he had a batch of them now. But the problem was, the amount of expended soul foundation was huge. With his current foundation, he could not use Split Soul. Whenever a Wisdom Path Gu Immortals makes deductions on Fong Yuan, Emperor Yama would activate and expend his soul foundation. Every pure dream reality seeker physique body that Fong Yuan creates would expend his soul foundation. The same went for Myriad self. And exploring dream realms also damaged the soul. With all these reasons, Fong Yuan's soul was constantly being drained. Especially recently, Fairy Ziwei had been deducing matters on Fong Yuan every now and then, causing Emperor Yama to be activated continuously. Fong Yuan was consistently pestered, his Guts Gu storage was reaching its end. Ever since rebirth, even though the ink effect gave Fong Yuan lots of benefits, there were also problems that happened. In the previous life, his soul foundation was able to last for a long time. But now, it was terrible. At this rate, he would finish his stock of Guts Gu. Fong Yuan would need to use other soul path methods instead. These soul path methods all had their downsides, none were as useful as Guts Gu. There is another issue. Heavenly Court has started to take over the dragonfish business. Heavenly Court is actually selling a large number of iron dragonfish and silver dragonfish. They seem to be able to produce golden dragonfish too. It is causing a great impact to my dragonfish business. Even though this happened in the previous life as well, it occurred much later. To think that it would happen in advance now. But Fong Yuan was helpless about this. Spectral Soul was taken captive. Fairy Ziwei was likely provoked by the loss in Langyat Blessed Land. She intensified the soul search on Spectral Soul and obtained the information regarding the dragonfish business. It seems that Spectral Soul is starting to lose his hold. Even in the previous life when Longevity Heaven attacked Heavenly Court, he did not show up, he was imprisoned all along. Fong Yuan sighed, retracting his complex emotions. He had no time to waste. He had to use every minute and every second. Who knew if this extra second would be significant during the huge battle in the future? Any bit of accumulation mattered greatly. Fong Yuan's post-rebirth plans were progressing smoothly and gradually. Langyat Blessed Land was annexed, he became a rank 8 Gu Immortal, after which he took in the Four Races Alliance and gained a huge foundation. His human path attainment broke through to master level. Chi Chuyu made a transaction with him, the contents were even more advantageous to him than in the previous life. There was also Fong Clan trying to recruit him, the plan to develop Green Ghost Desert was going to be very helpful. All of these changes and accumulations were totally beyond his previous life. Fong Yuan did not relax at all. He knew that the southern border's leaders were going to meet and create a group to chase after him next. On one hand, Fong Yuan's attack was a type of provocation towards the southern border righteous path, they had to make an active response. On the other hand, Wu Clan, Tai Clan, Ba Clan, and the others also wanted to gain some benefits from this and raise their reputation, they wanted to gain a larger say in this group. There should be some time left. Because Southern Border's righteous path clans will not have an easy time coming up with a plan or conclusion. They need to compete against each other, with the emergence of earth trenches, the clans need to fight for natural resources, they have a lot of conflict among themselves. Currently, Tai Clan's Beacon Tower plan had not started yet, even though Tai Clan promoted it, the clans were not willing to let it start. In fact, the Southern Border Alliance was nowhere to be seen. Wu Yong had such ambitions, but if he mentioned it now, it would be a joke. Fong Yuan had a lot of things to do. Firstly, he needed to modify his Jade Flow Pearl killer move. This killer move used rank 7 fixed immortal travel as the core and almost all of Fong Yuan's current space path immortal Gu, a few refinement path immortal Gu, and a lot of supplementary mortal Gu to construct. He had used this killer move many times, it was already exposed. Even though Chi Chuyu was transacting with him secretly, he would definitely search for relevant information and look for other wisdom path immortals to find a way to counter it. To prevent himself from being countered, Fong Yuan needed to modify it and create a new version just in case. Because now, Bai Ning Bing, Ing Wu Xie, and the rest were still cultivating on the Stone Lotus Island. Omnidirectional travel could not be used now. Even though Shui Er, Mo Tan Sang, and Shi Cheng were prospective replacements, Fong Yuan did not practice with them a lot, they were far from actually mastering it. In terms of movement, Fong Yuan was heavily relying on omnidirectional travel and fixed immortal travel's killer move. If these two methods were unusable and Fong Yuan got encircled, he would be in trouble. One could never be too careful, the killer move involving fixed immortal travel was Fong Yuan's method of escaping if an unexpected mishap occurred. Next, he had to repair Spring-Autumn Cicada. Currently, he was already using immortal killer moves to help the weakened rank 6 Spring-Autumn Cicada recover more quickly. He also had to develop his businesses aggressively. The dragonfish business was heavily affected, Heavenly Court had a deep foundation, Fong Yuan could not compete against it. Many of Langya Blessed Land's businesses were needed by Fong Yuan himself, the rest needed to be adapted to suit Fong Yuan's current needs. Additionally, Fong Yuan also disguised his identity in Treasure Yellow Heaven and purchased immemorial year beasts. As for the conceptualization of the incomplete immortal Gu house, as well as the deduction of the killer move Gu as before, they were underway. Fong Yuan wanted to create his personal immortal Gu house. In the previous life, his immortal Gu house was constantly destroyed or damaged. These terrible experiences were precious to the current him, he had benefited greatly. His gains ever since he was reborn were quickly absorbed, Fong Yuan made use of every minute and second to grow stronger rapidly. Several days later. Western Desert, Fong Clan's headquarters. It is truly our clan's blessing that friend Swan Bujin could join us. From today onwards, you will be renowned throughout Western Desert, or even the other 4 regions. Fong Clan's first Supreme Elder Fong Gong held Fong Yuan's hands warmly. Fong Yuan smiled as he pulled back his hand inconspicuously. This old man looked very valiant and upfront on the outside but was actually devious and sinister. Fong Yuan had witnessed him sneak attacking Chen Yi and beating him up in Divine Bean Palace. The moment I joined Fong Clan, Fong Gong came to welcome me personally, while Fong Di Chang and the rest can't wait to spread news of this. It seems that Fong Clan is truly in a bad state now. Fong Yuan thought about it, he looked towards Fong Di Chang as he smiled. Fong Dichang had a strange feeling of nervousness. He thought to himself, what is going on? Why do I have a bad feeling all of a sudden? At the next moment, Fong Dichang's and Fong Gong's expressions changed. Fong Gong shouted loudly, such guts. Demonic Path Gu immortals dare to attack our clan's precious Heavenly Dew oasis. Do they think that our Fong clan is easy to bully? Fong Dichang had a grim expression as he said, it is a complex matter, it might not be Demonic Path Gu immortals but other forces instead. Especially now when Elder Swan Bujin has just joined us, we have just released this information in Treasure Yellow Heaven but this actually happened. Fong Yuan snorted coldly from agitation, he had a grim expression, let me handle this. Fong Dichang and Fong Gong looked at each other rapidly. Fong Gong clapped, wonderful, Elder, we will wait for good news from you. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1778, Fong and Fong scheming each other. Chapter 1778, Fong and Fong scheming each other. The desert extended to the horizon, intense winds whipped up a yellow sandstorm, shrouding the world. Fong Yuan's body moved like light smoke, traveling rapidly within the sandstorm. An oasis with a huge area appeared in his vision. This was Heavenly Dew Oasis. The oasis had a large lake that had a lot of water in it, it was almost like a small sea. Acupuncture trees were planted all around this lake. This tree was dark green in color, it resembled a human shape with arms and legs. Its legs were stabbed into the depths of the desert, absorbing water and maintaining its vitality. Its arms were either spread out or pointed towards the sky. Some were standing, their arms bent and their pinky fingers pointed towards their heads, as if they were picking their noses. Some were completely lying on the ground like a lazy person, the hands were placed behind their heads as they looked up at the sky. A large number of acupuncture trees, several hundreds of them, surrounded Heavenly Dew Oasis tightly, forming the first line of defense. Ordinary acupuncture trees were the most numerous, they were 10 to 20 feet tall, they looked like still giants. There were also several hundred desolate plant acupuncture trees, they were even larger, at 50 to 60 feet tall, they were very grand. There were also 10 or so ancient desolate plant acupuncture trees. They were large like mountains, even if they were lying down, they were extremely conspicuous among the other trees. At ancient desolate level, the acupuncture trees would blossom every year, the petals were snow white. The core had rainbow colors that were mostly pink, yellow, and light blue. Each petal was a seed of the acupuncture tree, it could scatter with the wind. The acupuncture tree was very valuable, it had great use. Each leaf, each branch, and each root was a Gu material, it had rich fire path and wood path Dao marks. When a strong enemy attacks, these acupuncture trees would stand up like giants, waving their limbs around and moving in the desert, they would fight the enemies using their strength and sharp needles. During normal times, they would be peaceful. When they met someone they favored, they would move their needles to pierce into them and inject some liquid. This liquid was like spring water but it had great value, it could increase the vitality and foundation of the living being, it could alleviate fatigue and illnesses, even treating diseases. By using the acupuncture needles regularly, one could stay healthy and strong, they can even live longer. Ignoring the more valuable lake, just these acupuncture trees surrounding it were very valuable, they made this Heavenly Dew Oasis a giant resource point. This oasis was famous in Western Desert, it was one of the top 10 oases, Fong Clan had placed much importance into this asset. Even though Fong Yuan's Dragonfish Sea was a giant resource point too, it was dwarfed in comparison with this oasis. Recently, Fong Clan has faced the suppression of the other Western Desert forces. Among all of their resource points, the small ones are being affected and even taken away. This time, Heavenly Dew Oasis was attacked, Fong Clan's limit for tolerance was touched so Fong Gong showed deep anger in response. After a while, Fong Yuan arrived above Heavenly Dew Oasis. The formation of Heavenly Dew Oasis was already activated, it was resisting a mysterious Gu immortal. This Gu immortal cultivated soul path, he wore a black robe and above him, there was a dark cloud. He was surrounded by gray-white vengeful spirits that moved around in the sky. He moved in a peculiar manner. His killer move was outstanding. Each attack would emit a shrill noise that made people feel goosebumps all over. The Fong Clan Gu Immortal defending Heavenly Dew Oasis had already activated the formation. But Fong Clan's formations were inferior to Qi Clan. Their strong point was in Immortal Gu houses. Furthermore, this Western Desert Soul Path Gu Immortal attacked peculiarly and ruthlessly. Half the formation was already destroyed. He was rampaging in Heavenly Dew Oasis. Fong Yuan did not conceal his aura. He arrived in the battlefield and attacked the Soul Path Gu Immortal. Boom boom boom. The two fought as they created thunderous noises. Air currents surged and created huge waves in the oasis lake. Fong Clan's Gu Immortal contacted Fong Yuan and asked him to help, but Fong Yuan only told him to defend the oasis. The Fong Clan Gu Immortal was worried because the Soul Path Gu Immortal was very strong. He felt very uneasy in this situation. But Fong Yuan showed an even stronger stance. He had many Immortal Gu, while acting as Xuanbu Jin. Even with just Wisdom Path methods, he had a variety of different methods that could not be dealt with easily. The Soul Path Gu Immortal had peculiar methods, but Fong Yuan's Wisdom Path killer moves were more exquisite, filled with wisdom and elegance. As the two fought, Fong Yuan gained the upper hand. He slowly obtained control over the tempo of the battle. The Western Desert Soul Path Gu Immortal became more fierce in his attacks as he shouted, "Who are you? How did Fong Clan find someone like you?" Fong Yuan laughed loudly. "I am Wisdom Path Xuanbu Jin, an external supreme elder of Fong Yuan. I have just joined Fong Clan, but you jumped out to provoke me. You are simply looking down on me. I will take your life." Fong Yuan's display of killing intent surged as he forced the Soul Path Gu Immortal back into a dangerous spot. The Fong Clan Gu Immortal inside the formation felt a chill in his heart. This newly joined supreme elder of the clan was definitely not a kind or easygoing person. Fong Yuan's eyes shined with brilliance. His face was full of sternness and arrogance. He waved his sleeves as he attacked like raging tides. His attacks were very powerful. The spectator was deeply shocked. After a while, the Soul Path Gu Immortal shouted loudly. He seemed to have used a killer move with deep backlash. His face turned pale as his aura became dim. He was very weakened now. But his speed increased rapidly. He flew out of the battlefield like a sharp arrow. "Where are you going?" Fong Yuan shouted loudly, chasing relentlessly. Under the Fong Clan's Gu Immortal's expectant gaze, Fong Yuan chased after the Soul Path Gu Immortal. Fong Clan headquarters. In the room, Fong Gong and Fong Di Cheng were discussing their plan in secret. All of a sudden, they stopped their discussions at the same time. "Oh. Xuanbu Jin made the strong enemy retreat. He is really fast." Fong Di Cheng smiled. But Fong Gong had a low tone. According to the information, Xuanbu Jin chased after him but returned midway. According to Xuanbu Jin, he returned in order to prevent the enemy from setting a trap and ambushing him elsewhere. What do you think about that? Fong Di Cheng smiled. Xuanbu Jin is a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal like me. He might have found some clues and sensed a scheme. Or maybe, he did not want to spend so much effort on this. Forcing the enemy away was already enough to show some credit for his work. He is not a Fong clansman after all. He joined us because the rewards were plentiful, and also because he wants to develop Green Ghost Desert with us. Fong Di Cheng's analysis of Fong Yuan was very in-depth. Fong Gong nodded. Xuanbu Jin has good strength. His methods are numerous. Should we rope him into this plan too? Fong Di Cheng shook his head. Would not advise you to do that. He has just joined us. We do not know about his background yet. Even though we have the agreement, we cannot entrust everything to it. He is an uncertainty. Fong Gong pondered. Then forget it. I just felt that it was a pity. He has great battle strength after all. Fong Di Cheng smiled. Actually, even without him, our arrangements are sufficient already. Even if he does not join our secret plan, he can also provide some help. We should let him defend Heavenly Dew Oasis instead. We can bring the rank 7 member back to participate in this. In that case, we can show that our Fong clan is willing to give outsiders a chance. We can use Xuan Bujin as a good example. With the results of this battle and our spreading of the news, he will gain huge fame. He will become an eyesore of the Western Desert Righteous Path forces. He will draw a lot of the attention away from us. Ha ha ha. Fong Gong laughed, looking at Fong Di Chang with deep admiration. It is truly great that our Fong clan has a wisdom path great grandmaster like you. The next day, letting me defend this place. Fong Yuan looked at Heavenly Dew Oasis as his thoughts moved rapidly like lightning. He was already using his wisdom path killer moves. I have just joined Fong Clan, but they actually let me defend this place alone. They deployed the original rank 7 Gu Immortal elsewhere. And with the battle earlier, Fong Clan promoted it intensely. The Western Desert Righteous Path is already on to me. Normally speaking, Fong Clan should deploy 1 Gu Immortal here to keep an eye on me. But not only did they not do that, Fong Clan's experts are also moving in a peculiar fashion. It seems that they are going to attempt something big. In the previous life, what did Fong Clan do? Fong Yuan frowned. In the previous life, because Xuan Bujin got exposed, Fong Yuan did not pay much attention to Fong Clan. Fong Yuan did not know how Fong Clan countered the suppression of Western Desert's righteous path. What happened from now until the time Fong Clan took the lead to attack Emperor City. It seems that Western Desert's righteous path had worked together to conceal the truth. Or perhaps, something has changed in this life already. The ink effect has already spread until here. Fong Yuan lacked information now. He could not think of any plan. For the following period, he could only wait and see what happens. On one hand, he can wait for the development here. On the other hand, he had to continue his plans. Ing Wuxia, where are you now? He contacted Ing Wuxia. Within Green Ghost Desert, a Soul Path Gu Immortal looked at the dark sky as he moved with his head lowered, reporting to sect leader, I am already inside Green Ghost Desert. It was Ing Wuxia. Not long ago, Fong Yuan had secretly brought him out of the Stone Lotus Island and gave him Yang San Mu's body, Immortal Aperture, his Soul Path Gu Worms, and the modified Soul Path Killer moves. Ing Wuxia had changed his appearance already. If Fong Clan's Gu Immortals saw him now, they would be enraged. Isn't this the mysterious Gu Immortal who attacked our Heavenly Dew Oasis yesterday? Very good, I have already handed Soul Beast token to you, go ahead and develop the army. Keep in contact with me at all times. I already have fixed Immortal Travel's killer move now, I can reinforce you at any time. Don't be careless and end up in an immortal battlefield or a formation space. Fong Yuan added. I understand, sect leader. Ing Wuxia replied respectfully, with me here, there will be an unceasing supply of soul beasts. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1779, Killer Move Steel Dao. Chapter 1779 Killer Move Steel Dao. Xuan Bujin was just a disguise. Fong Yuan knew that in order to join Fong Clan, his biggest obstacle was Fong Di Chang. Because he was a Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster. Usually, only experts among rank 8s had Great Grandmaster attainment level. They were hard to deal with. There would be too many traces left behind if Fong Yuan tried to use Wisdom Path methods to deal with Fong Di Chang's deductions. After all, Fong Yuan was just a Wisdom Path Grandmaster. He was skilled at deductions and killer move modification in terms of Wisdom Path. Using the light of wisdom, in terms of deducing killer moves, he was the #1 person in the world. But dealing with other Gu Immortals and resisting other Wisdom Path Gu Immortals' deductions was not Fong Yuan's expertise. After Fong Yuan joins Fong Clan, it might stir some strange feelings in Fong Di Chang. Wisdom Path Gu Immortals were usually very calm. If their mental state was affected and their emotions changed, it would signify a huge problem. Thus, Fong Yuan arranged for Ing Wuxia to disguise as a Western Desert Gu Immortal and attack Fong Clan's Heavenly Dew Oasis. As expected, Fong Di Chang fell for it and did not suspect Fong Yuan. Making Ing Wuxia attack Heavenly Dew Oasis had another deeper meaning. It was to help Fong Yuan integrate into Fong Clan more quickly. Xuan Bujin had worked with Fong Clan to fight over Divine Bean Palace, but he had just joined the clan. Western Desert's righteous path was not familiar with him, while Fong Clan held suspicion towards his loyalty. At this time, Fong Yuan arranged for such an event. He displayed his own battle strength and to a certain extent, his loyalty towards Fong Clan. However, Fong Di Chang's wisdom path attainment level is higher than mine. The more we interact, the more likely he would be to find out the truth. Fong Yuan alerted himself. Dealing with a wisdom path great grandmaster was too troublesome. Even though Fong Yuan was using familiar face killer move, he was in danger of getting exposed. Other than that, there was another risk, Wu Xie. Wu Xie's disguise method was not special, after all Soul Path did not specialize in that. Furthermore, legendary immemorial soul beast Qing Cho was likely still lurking somewhere in Green Ghost Desert. These were all hidden dangers and risks. But compared to these risks, Fong Yuan's need for a vast number of soul beasts to raise his soul path cultivation level was greater. He was willing to take the risk. Even though I joined Fong Clan and they agreed to develop Green Ghost Desert, giving me a portion of the soul cores once in a while, they are very busy now, and because they have some stockpile of soul cores, they will likely hand me these accumulated soul cores during this period of time. Fong Yuan had already expected this. He needed to rely on himself for the development of Green Ghost Desert. Fong Yuan had not thought of relying on Fong Clan to capture soul beasts for him. In that situation, Fong Clan would not try their best after all. The truth was, Fong Yuan did not want Fong Clan to overly take control of Green Ghost Desert. The cooperation with them was to prevent Fong Clan from causing trouble. After all, there was only one clan, Fong Clan, around the vicinity of Green Ghost Desert. Fong Yuan could not station himself in Green Ghost Desert. He had to arrange pawns like Wu Xie. If Fong Clan found trouble with him, they could not deal with Fong Yuan easily, but Wu Xie was an easy target. Fong Yuan had considered many things. In this case, he had to cooperate with Fong Clan first. Even though Fong Clan did not have effective methods to use the soul beasts, they would capture many soul beasts each year and extract their soul cores. It could build up their inventory and also be sold for profit. If Fong Yuan tried to hunt in Green Ghost Desert alone using Xuan Bujin's identity, Fong Clan would find him an eyesore. As the super force that was the closest to Green Ghost Desert, Fong Clan had already treated Green Ghost Desert as their own territory. Fong Yuan could not eliminate them entirely, he had to choose to work with them. Turning an enemy into a friend was also a way of eliminating an enemy. From Fong Yuan's perspective, killing was just a method. Other than killing, there were many other methods he could use. To achieve his goals, he had to use the most appropriate and effective method, regardless of what it entailed. This was different from Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable handled matters and conflict with basically one method. That was to kill. You do not relent. Kill. You are an eyesore. Kill. His own mood was bad. Kill. He was bored. Kill. Fong Yuan began to inspect Heavenly Dew Oasis. He had already seen the acupuncture trees, they were at the periphery. But he had to enter the formation to observe the lake water within it. Heavenly Dew Oasis not only had a lot of water resources, they were of various types. Commonly seen were delicate springs, jade toad drool, bitter fragrance water. More rare ones included divine strength water, black-white water, and others. There was a huge quantity of Gu materials, with immortal materials of all kinds. For example, even though divine strength water was a type of water, it contained strength path Dao marks. It was a rank 6 strength path immortal material in the market. In Mortal Fables, divine strength water had a lot of names. Often, when mortal heroes drink this water, they would gain divine strength and be able to defeat evil Gu masters. And because this divine strength water was an immortal material, drinking it without food path methods would kill even a Gu immortal just because of its strength path Dao marks. Therefore, the mortals of these stories often die themselves after taking revenge. The most important one was black-white water. Black-white water was a rank 7 immortal material. It was situated at the center of Heavenly Dew Oasis. During daytime, the black-white water would be white, during night, it would be black. Placing the black-white water there while exposed to the sky, as the days and nights cycle, the black-white water would create drops of heavenly dew. The heavenly dew was transparent and looked like a droplet. It was round and each drop had the size of a baby's finger. The heavenly dew could not fuse together, droplets could only be placed together but not as one entity. The most valuable thing in Heavenly Dew Oasis was the heavenly dew. It was a rank 8 immortal material. Fong Yuan soon found that this black-white water region had 100 droplets of heavenly dew accumulated here. Wu Xie attacked this place but did not reach the center. The heavenly dew that had accumulated for half a year was still here. Fong Yuan smiled as he stored 30 droplets of heavenly dew away without hesitation. This was the hidden rule of the righteous path. Any Gu immortal sent to defend the resource points would secretly keep a portion of the resources for their own cultivation needs. Of course, this was not an outright rule. But basically, all the super forces allowed this. Being stationed outside to defend resource points was a tough job. It had risks. Without this benefit, who would want to do it? In the 500 years of his previous life, Fong Yuan had learned about these things. Taking 30 drops of heavenly dew was the limit already. This was a valuable sum. It was 3 months of heavenly dew oasis accumulation. If he took more, Fong Clan would not be happy. They would accuse him of embezzlement. It is a pity that the 9 heavens shattered. Only black heaven and white heaven are left. If the 9 heavens were around, according to this heavenly dew oasis location, this would not be black-white water but rank 8 immortal material 9-colored water. 9-colored water faces the sky and experiences the 9 different heavens continuously. With the direct rays of the stars, moon, and sun from the 9 heavens, it would produce a drop of 9 heavenly star sweat every year from this 9-colored water. 9 heavenly star sweat was a rank 9 immortal material. It was one of the 3 waters of heaven and earth, along with Myriad being creation water and rising falling tide water. It had extreme value. It was rare even among rank 9 immortal materials. Different from the 3 fires of heaven and earth, the 9 heavenly star sweat of the 3 waters of heaven and earth had already vanished. Because 7 of the 9 heavens were already gone, only 2 heavens were left. After looking at all the resources, Fong Yuan sighed in admiration. This heavenly dew oasis was truly one of Western Desert's top 10 oases. He looked at the formation again. He was tasked to guard this place. He obviously could use the formation. Fong Clan gave him the methods to utilize this formation. Fong Yuan tried activating them and comprehending the workings of this formation. He had formation path grandmaster attainment level. He also had wisdom path methods. He quickly gained some knowledge. Compared to Qi Clan, Fong Clan's defensive formation at Heavenly Dew Oasis was not impressive. Thus, Fong Clan spent a lot of effort to place the acupuncture trees here as a form of defense. Fong Clan was like Qi Clan, they excelled in formation path. But the difference was, Fong Clan excelled in immortal Gu houses, because immortal Gu houses were a type of mobile immortal formation. Meanwhile, Qi Clan excelled in creating immobile formations. That was the mainstream of formation path. And most importantly, Qi Clan had a formation path great grandmaster, Qi Chu Yu. Formation path Gu immortals who had great grandmaster attainment level could use natural Dao marks to set up immortal formations. Not only could they save on immortal Gu, they could even use the environment to create strong defenses while helping the development of the resource point, increasing its yield. Fong Clan set up this formation in Heavenly Dew Oasis. They used many immortal Gu. But the formation's main purpose was to increase the Heavenly Dew production. It was not focused on defense. But Fong Clan's specialty is very strong too. They own multiple immortal Gu houses. Not only do they have high mobility, they can use the immortal Gu houses to fight rank 8 enemies with just rank 6 Gu immortals. If I am Fong Clan's leader, in this situation, I would gather my people to attack one enemy. By displaying a fierce demeanor, we can intimidate and deter the rest of the Western Desert Righteous Path forces. But they would need to pay close attention to the extent of their actions. If they go overboard, they would be in trouble. If they do too little, it would deter no one. Fong Yuan was thinking about Fong Clan and Western Desert's Righteous Path forces now. He had to cultivate during this period of time, processing his gains and modifying killer moves. It did not matter if he was in Western Desert or Southern Border. Time was quite pressing. Very soon, Southern Border's righteous path would come to agreement, they would come after him. Flipping heaven sand sea. Huge sand waves were rising and falling continuously. Under the rays of the moonlight, white sand looked like snow, sand waves rose to tens of feet with a grand aura. It was a famous sight in Western Desert. Fong Clan's Gu immortals had secretly gathered, approaching Treasure Moon Oasis within the Sand Sea. According to the intel, Dong Clan's Dong Lu Chen has already arrived. Let's go. Fong Di Chang transmitted secretly. Good. Fong Gong burst out with overwhelming aura, attacking Treasure Moon Oasis directly. Dong Lu Chen flew up, his rank 8 aura also permeated the area. He shouted with shock and anger, Fong Gong, I did not approach you for trouble, but you are actually attacking me. Fong Gong roared, cut the crap, let's fight. The battle of two rank 8 Gu immortals caused thunderous sounds and intense explosions. Dong Lu Chen was in a passive spot, he was quite restricted as he had to defend the Treasure Moon Oasis behind him. He blocked Fong Gong's attacks as his expression sank, Fong Clan, just you wait. You dare to attack the territory of righteous path forces, you have broken the rules. In just a while, the whole of Western Desert super forces will inflict judgment upon you. Is that so? Didn't your Dong clan spread the rumor that Treasure Moon Oasis was once attacked by our clan? Since you do not have evidence, we are so kind as to come here and give you some evidence. A strangely shaped broken immortal Gu house flew into the sky, Fong Di Chang's voice came from within it. Dong Lu Chen became even more furious, Fong Di Chang, you are a mere rank 7, you dare. Before he finished, Fong Clan's immortal Gu house unleashed an immortal killer move. Dong Lu Chen's anger vanished all of a sudden, replaced by deep shock and fear. This immortal killer move, don't tell me. Exactly, it is the killer move that thieving heaven demon Venerable used to create his path, Steel Dao. Fong Di Chang answered. No. Dong Lu Chen growled, he turned to look at Treasure Moon Oasis. Due to the killer move Steel Dao, the countless natural Dao marks of Treasure Moon Oasis became exposed. They were either long or short, most were lines that weaved together, forming some sort of mysterious shape. Some were like webs while others were like balls of thread, accumulating into a mountain. Dong Lu Chen tried to stop them but it was futile. He watched with a furious expression as these Dao marks were all drawn into that theft path immortal Gu house that Fong Clan owned. This was the power of the killer move Steel Dao. By activating this move, one could directly steal Dao marks. In the past, after creating this move, thieving heaven demon Venerable gathered enough foundation to trigger a qualitative change, officially establishing the new Gu path, theft path. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1780, Crime Scene. Chapter 1780 Crime Scene. Fong Clan's assault shook the whole of Western Desert's righteous path. Undeniably, Steel Dao was a powerful weapon. At once, the entirety of Western Desert's righteous path forces were intimidated. Fong Yuan soon received word of this battle. The details were very specific. There was a video of the entire battle. This was naturally given to him by Fong Clan. Fong Clan has a thieving heaven true inheritance. Fong Yuan was quite shocked at this discovery. Fong Yuan soon thought of great thief immortal Gu. He had obtained this immortal Gu from Fong Clan. According to rumors, Fong Clan had obtained this great thief immortal Gu by chance. A lone immortal who joined them had contributed it. It seems that back then, Fong Clan not only obtained great thief immortal Gu, they also obtained clues to a thieving heaven true inheritance. The foundation of a super force, truly. Fong Yuan shook his head. Like Wu Yong's clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building and Fong Clan's theft path immortal Gu house as well as the killer move Steel Dao, these trump cards were all able to rapidly change the disadvantageous situation that they were facing. Undeniably, this is a huge deterrence to the other clans. Fong Clan's situation is going to change because of this. It seems that in my previous life, this was the reason why the entire righteous path relented. Steal Dao could steal Dao marks. Once used, it could destroy a natural resource point. The main foundation of righteous path forces were these scattered resource points. Different from destroying these resource points, Steal Dao had an immediate effect. Its effect could directly cripple the resource point without any way of recovering it. With Fong Clan's assault, Dong Clan's first supreme elder Dong Lu Chen remained unscathed, but the entire Treasure Moon Oasis was wiped from existence. If they truly forced Fong Clan to use this method without restraint, which Western Desert Righteous Path Force could handle their retaliation? Even a rank 8 Gu immortal like Dong Lu Chen could not do anything. Fong Yuan praised Fong Di Chang's decision internally. He chose a strong enemy and attacked the location guarded by Dong Lu Chen. This was a strong deterrence to the other forces. At the same time, he did not go overboard. Treasure Moon Oasis was a mid-sized resource point. It was not even a large resource point. It bore a special meaning to Dong Lu Chen because his beloved wife was buried there, so every year at a certain time, he would go there and mourn her death. As a result, Dong Clan's losses were not severe, while Dong Lu Chen was not particularly angry. Only the Dao marks were lost, his wife's grave was not touched at all. They really had a good grasp of the situation. By making full use of this battle result, they not only deterred Western Desert's righteous path, they also sought to intimidate me. Fong Yuan held the information path Mortal Gu in his hand as he laughed coldly. In this Gu, Fong Di Chang also mentioned the heavenly dew. He said, there should be very little heavenly dew lost from the battle, only about 10 droplets. He asked Fong Yuan to look around, he might find the remaining 20 somewhere. Fong Yuan had taken 30 droplets earlier. He reported it to Fong Clan as the loss from the battle. Wu Xia had caused it when he attacked. In the future, production might also fall. This was just an excuse. Both him and Fong Clan knew the truth clearly. But Fong Clan did not accommodate to this. They warned him in a subtle manner, don't go overboard, 10 droplets is enough, hand over the remaining 20. Heavenly Dew was a rank 8 immortal material after all. Fong Clan did not want to give up this profit. Of course, they were also trying to suppress Fong Yuan. You had just joined us recently but already wants to keep some profits for yourself. Control yourself. Look at this battle, our Fong Clan is still very strong, you should consider the gains and losses carefully. This was the true meaning of Fong Di Chang's letter to Fong Yuan. Conversation among righteous path members was usually very implicit, it was not straightforward like the demonic path. But the truth is, this shows how weak you are now. Fong Yuan was crystal clear in his mind. In this battle, Fong Clan did not use any other immortal Gu house. It showed that during the Battle of Divine Bean Palace, their immortal Gu houses were heavily damaged. Fong Clan used the Theft Path immortal Gu house that was clearly damaged. The Steel Dao Killer move they used had rank 8 power, but Fong Yuan could see that this move had a huge burden on the immortal Gu house. It could not be used extensively. And it was not stable. If the killer move was stable and could be used often, Fong Clan would have used it long ago, they would not have waited until now. Steel Dao was the trump card of Fong Clan, they did not want to use it but there was no choice. Very likely, Fong Clan did not have the complete Thieving Heaven true inheritance, or maybe, they had not grasped it fully yet. Because Fong Clan was most numerous in Formation Path Gu Immortals, they excelled in Formation Path, they were not familiar with Theft Path. Fong Yuan first replied to Fong Di Chang. In the letter, he wrote that he found the 20 droplets of heavenly dew, he had been too careless earlier. Next, a dark light flashed in his eyes, it is time to take action personally. Immortal Killer Move, Jade Flow Pearl. During this period, he had gained control of Heavenly Dew Oasis formation, he even set up a formation inside this formation. Not only could it create the illusion that he was inside defending the place, it could also conceal Fong Yuan's actions. Jade Flow Pearl was also modified successfully, the activation speed was faster now and the aura leaked at the destination was smaller, it was not as eye-catching as before. Fong Yuan arrived at Burning Firefly Desert. This place was filled with weird rocks and few plants. There was a type of insect that filled this place, called burning fireflies. There was an endless number of burning fireflies here, among them were a vast number of burning firefly Gu, from rank 3 to 5. Burning Firefly Gu was a type of fire path Gu. It was quite high grade, with rank 3 being the lowest, but it had never produced a rank 6 Gu before. This was a mid-sized resource point of Fong Clan. Fong Clan set up an immortal formation here as well. They used the Burning Firefly Gu to create a fire path environment to raise a lot of other fire path Gu worms here. A rank 6 Fong Clan Gu immortal was defending this place. Fong Yuan used familiar face to disguise himself. He directly attacked. He killed this Fong Clan Gu immortal and tossed the corpse. Before destroying the formation and slaughtering all the Gu worms, the entire desert was turned into ruins before he left. Worth mentioning was that he used Earth Path methods. Within Langyap Blessed Land's inventory, there were several Earth Path immortal Gu. Fong Yuan also had a large number of Earth Path killer moves. After doing all that, he returned to Heavenly Dew Oasis. Over on Fong Di Chang's end, he smiled after receiving Fong Yuan's reply, but soon learned about the nightmare that his clan's burning Firefly Desert was destroyed. In an instant, this Fong Clan Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster was dazed. His joyful emotion was gone. A member of Fong Clan died. Burning Firefly Desert was not important, the important thing was, Fong Clan's Gu Immortal died. All along, Fong Clan had always lacked Gu Immortals. Compared to the other Western Desert Righteous Path forces, they were disadvantaged. Only after bringing in Old Ghost by June, Eagle Concubine, and Swan Bujin recently did the situation change. But these three were outsiders, they did not have Fong Clan bloodline, it was not the same. Fong Clan's Gu Immortal died, even though they were just rank 6, it was a severe loss to the whole of Fong Clan. Fong Gong placed great importance on this. He quickly discussed the situation with Fong Di Chang. After a short conversation, Fong Gong stayed to guard the headquarters while Fong Di Chang went out to find the culprit at the scene of the crime in Burning Firefly Desert. The murderer killed our clan's Gu Immortal. They even destroyed all of the desert's resources. This is clearly not a crime of greed, this is totally an act of revenge. Fong Di Chang used his wisdom path method. He surveyed the scene and quickly saw indications of the ruthless thoughts, hatred, and angry emotions of the culprit behind this incident. Earth Path Method, is it Dong Clan's revenge? Fong Di Chang thought of this as Dong Clan specialized in Earth Path, but he soon shook his head. If Dong Clan did it, this is way too obvious, there must be other righteous path forces trying to take advantage of the situation. The situation is bad. Fong Di Chang's expression turned grim. He was a wisdom path great grandmaster, he had made many deductions regarding the consequences of using Steel Dao to intimidate the Western Desert Righteous Path forces. Among them was one possible situation, someone in Western Desert's Righteous Path forces might want to provoke him but would not dare to do it publicly, they would hide behind the scenes and use some devious plan. Fong Yuan acted very cleanly, he only left behind the clues that he wanted them to find. There was another element, Fong Clan lacked information path Gu immortals, Fong Di Chang was a wisdom path immortal, he did not cultivate information path. If an information path Gu immortal came here, they might be able to find some traces or evidence that lead to Fong Yuan. But Fong Clan could not. Even if Fong Clan invited an information path expert to help, they could not approach the other righteous path forces, that meant that there was little choice available. If they invited lone and demonic immortals, the person would need rank 7 cultivation level. But as part of the righteous path, Fong Clan did not have a good relationship with lone and demonic immortals. Even lone immortals with decent relationship or demonic immortals who have transactions with them secretly might not cultivate information path. Fong Di Chang did not find any valuable clues. When he returned to the headquarters, his expression was very dark. Western Desert's righteous path soon got news of this. Immediately, a rank 8 expert went to ask Dong Lu Chen. Dong Lu Chen heard this and became very stupefied. He breathed in deeply as he felt deep anger rising, he cursed internally, which bastard is trying to harm my Dong Clan? Fong Clan has Steel Dao, but they did not go overboard and target our giant resource points. Yet this bastard killed their Fong Clan's Gu Immortal, that is going too far. Damn it! This person used Earth Path methods and I am an Earth Path Gu Immortal, my Dong Clan specializes in Earth Path too, they are trying to frame us. So devious and vicious, yet I cannot retort to them. Dong Lu Chen could barely contain the anger and annoyance in his heart. He could not go around shouting that he was not the culprit. Firstly, nobody was publicly accusing him. Even if they suspected him, wouldn't he be showing weakness by declaring innocence? Earlier, Fong Clan destroyed one of Dong Clan's mid-sized resource points. If he shouted about his innocence now, wouldn't it show that he was afraid of Fong Clan? That would not only taint Dong Lu Chen's reputation, the whole of Dong Clan's prestige would be affected. Thus, even though Dong Lu Chen hated Fong Yuan and wanted to declare his innocence, towards the rank 8 expert who asked him, he could only snort, "This feels great, I am very angry. But who did this to them? I will definitely give them a huge reward, tear them to shreds." 1. Hee hee. The rank 8 expert replied with a meaningful answer. Dong Lu Chen's feelings felt even worse now. Hee hee, your mother. Am I having an easy time? My Dong Clan's territory is bordered with Fong Clan. They were pushed aside so they attacked my clan to intimidate us all. This time, Fong Clan's Gu immortal died. If they retaliate now, my Dong Clan will face the greatest danger. 1. The bracketed words are his inner thoughts. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.